Yo, this is Steve Bloom, and you're watching Moana Nui Podcast. We'll be starting soon. Don't go anywhere.
I'm Veronica Taylor, and from myself and Ash Ketchum, I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Moana Nui Podcast. My name's Moana, founder and host of the show. Tonight, I'll be flying solo a little bit as Dana has another commitment that she's taking care of. So I know she is bummed about missing this topic, but I'm sure she will be joining us in the comments when she's free. It is December 1st. When did this happen? I don't understand how we are at the end of 2022, but here we are. Since it's been a while since I have been able to come on the show, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all of our Kickstarter backers who helped us to raise the funds for the third book in our children's book series, The Adventures of Nakoa and Nohea. And so we're really excited to continue that for all of you. And we'll definitely be keeping folks updated on our progress. Ryan is our illustrator, and he's getting ready for GalaxyCon in Ohio this weekend. So if you're in that AOR or area, please go check him out at the con, stop by, say hello, and support his beautiful art. I know it would mean a lot to him and to us. So definitely check that out. And then one quick announcement for Kickstarters, at least this is the one that's coming to mind for me, is Green Zone from Freestyle Comics. I think they launched this morning. So go ahead and check that one out. A great IP created by Fish Lee, and of course published by Freestyle Comics and Mike Watson. So definitely check those projects out. So tonight's show we're really excited. We've been waiting on this one for a long time. And I know our panelists are like chomping at the bit in the back room waiting to get started. So we're going to be talking about Wakanda Forever. And we'll see who of our esteemed illustrious panelists has seen this movie the most and who has the best arguments for what makes this movie the greatest, one of the greatest films for 2022. So with that being said, I'm going to do some quick intros, but most of them you should already be familiar with, but excited to welcome them back to the show. Let's see. Let's start with Furious. Furious is an engineer, scientist, gamer, black nerd, and sci-fi lover. All of the things that I am also have in common. Welcome back, brother.
Sweet. Thank you. Glad to be here. To be here.
Yes. Let's go. I see you got your drinks back there. He's ready.
As well as.
Yes, the swag. I love it. All righty. Teresa Kennedy is a sales administrator, aspiring cosplayer, and welcome, Teresa.
Hi. Me too, Furious.
That's right.
Sure.
That's right.
There you go.
Let's go. Okay, let's see. James, a gamer, black nerd, and sports enthusiast. Welcome.
Greetings. I couldn't decide which of my 12 shirts to wear, so Okoye went out.
Of course. That's my girl right there.
Knowing James, that shirt might change before the night's over.
No, I am not switching through all 12 of my Black Panther shirts.
Well, I didn't say it would be all 12. I just said it might change.
It might change.
It won't. I mean, I have the Nakia shirt too I can switch to. I'm not doing that.
Maybe he flashes.
I'm just stick with the Okoye for the rest of the night.
It's good choice. Let's see. All right, Simone, cloud engineer, blurred cosplayer, our friend. She's been on this show a bunch. Welcome back, sis.
Hey, y'all had to make me go and put my shirt on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey,
One of us.
All righty. And then we got Joy Stevens, who's a culture coach, gamer, recovering engineer, and a boss, of course.
I got a whole ass pattern on over here, which y'all know about Wakanda Forever.
I saw it. I was like, oh, I need to ask her where she got that. And then last but not least, the person who was here first, Kyle. He's a pro paint accessories and sales and a comic book enthusiast. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I don't have my Wakanda shirt on, but me.
You got the
and
Killmonger hair though, so you good.
I got the Killmonger, and me and Mbaku are proud to be here representing the Jabari tribe tonight.
Nice. Very nice.
I love it. All righty. Well, we got everybody in the room. Let's see. Where do we want to start? Anybody have any preferences on where we want to launch this conversation?
I'd say we start at the beginning. The ceremonial tribute to T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, funeral scene to open the movie was probably my first of like 3 or 4 tear-jerking moments of the film. Definitely loved it because my first showing, I decked out in all white from head to toe. I was not expecting that scene to open the movie, so it kind of caught me off guard. It was a wonderful sequence. The tributes and everything that you saw, the dancing, you can tell that even amongst the extras, that was truly a celebration of both T'Challa, the character, and Chadwick, the actor's life for what they threw into the MCU up until his untimely passing. So that was, and I'm getting a little emotional talking about it right now, but it was just one of those things. Is like, I won't say it set the tone for the whole film, but it kind of gave you a little bit of closure to Chadwick not being there for this film.
I'd like to throw in the Marvel Studios logo opening. That to me was extremely moving. The Marvel Studios theme is the ringtone on my phone. So I look forward to that in every movie, and also kind of watching the logo to see what characters are in the logo and everything. And with this one being all Chadwick, just, different times, different scenes or whatever, all Chadwick and in complete silence. That was the first time I lost it.
I'm with you. I didn't make it 30 seconds into the movie starting. And that's not the first time I've seen them do that for Chadwick, because they did it during the What If series when they showed his version of what if the Guardians of the Galaxy had kidnapped him, the Marauders had kidnapped T'Challa instead. But to your point, it was the standard, but I think it had sound, which we're used to, but it was just all T'Challa at that moment. But this one, the pure silence, ugly cry almost immediately, like it was bad. And to James's point, it set the tone. Like, I try to be circumspect and not infect other people with my emotional crying. So I got the little crunchy, loud, crackly napkin that they give you with the popcorn, like wiping my eyes. But I mean, I felt like I had been given an opportunity to attend Chadwick Boseman's wake
funeral.
I felt like even more moving for me was the dialogue that they put in like small, like different types of lettering within the Marvel logo. And I thought that was even more powerful, because yes, Chadwick, the actor portraying Black Panther, was iconic, was powerful. But I think the words that he spoke and the dialogue that was written for him as a character and how he delivered that, I thought was even more powerful. Like the end of the first movie where he said, "In times of crisis, fools build walls, we build bridges." Like, we're looking to build bridges, essentially, kind of tying to the real life aspect of like 45 trying to build a wall around our country, and him being wise enough and being stoic enough to deliver that kind of line. Like I thought that was just moving. So them putting that dialogue and other important pieces of dialogue within the Marvel text, I thought was even more moving. So yeah, I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, I had a lot of people. I'm very emotional, and I expected that I was going to be bawling. I mean, we brought tons of tissues, but I didn't cry. I didn't cry because I think I was more excited to see everything, and I didn't want to miss anything with the tears and I don't know. I don't know why I didn't cry, but I felt it, and I just felt it in my soul, and I'm like, damn, I don't know if his funeral was like this, but this gave all of his fans a chance to say goodbye.
Right.
I was like, okay, we love you. Goodbye. Thank you, Marvel, for doing this, because this was a great way to give a tribute to him, to say goodbye, for us to say goodbye.
I don't know how Ryan Coogler did it. Like being close to him and having the relationship that they had, and having to write this, and keep it going, keep it action, keep it interesting, throw some funny lines and all that kind of stuff, but grieve along with us at the same time and allow us to see it and experience this way. This is a masterpiece of a movie.
Oh, Joy, did you see that they have a podcast? And he said that he asked Chadman to read the script. Yeah. And he got emotional. He got emotional in his podcast. It's a Marvel podcast. I'm gonna send it to you. It's a Marvel podcast, and he was so emotional, and he was like, I can't.
You're trying to make my eyes rain right now.
It was a good minute before he had to compose himself. I'm so serious about a good minute that he had to stop, because he was explaining that he spoke to Chadman just before he died, asking him, and he was like, no, I'm busy. I can't read it right now. And this man, knowing that he wasn't even going to be here. Right. And at that point, still not telling him that he was dying.
Yeah. And like, I know he had, like Ryan Coogler had mentioned, like even the first movie, you could tell like during like different fight sequences, how much of a break he had to take in between shooting various scenes and things like that, and knowing that something wasn't quite right. And the weight of having that, like giving Chadwick that early script, Chadwick not having the chance to like really get into it like he wanted to, because of all he was going through, and then Ryan having the weight of that, realizing why, like that. Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful.
But even in Endgames, when at the end, when he's at Tony's funeral, I was looking at that movie. I'm like, is he getting ready for another film? Because he looks so thin.
Right. Yeah. And I remember it going around the internet, like, how we can be. People was clowning him for being skinny, like, what you doing, what drugs you taking, all that kind of nonsense. Right. And then what was it? Viola Davis was with him in the movie, the adaptation from the play, something Black Bottom. You know what I'm talking about? He played a jazz. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. He played the jazz trumpeter or whatnot. And then people thought, oh, he got skinny for that movie. That must have been part of the thing. And then he was so powerful in that movie as well. And then to understand that he literally gave us his last. Yeah. And speechless.
Yeah. Yeah, that opening scene was very, very moving and powerful. And honestly, for me, the funeral scene kind of made me angry.
Why?
Because as I'm watching the funeral scene, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, where the hell is the superhero community?
So they can bring the bad food?
Why is no one at this man's funeral?
Because no one wants raisins in the potato salad.
Ain't nobody trying to eat.
Right.
Like everybody showed up.
They didn't need to be there. They didn't need to be there.
Everybody showed up for Tony Stark's funeral, but we can't get any of y'all to come to.
So that actually was discussed. You make a good point, but that was discussed on one of the forums or whatnot. That it's very possible that Wakanda had a closed ceremony.
That's what I said. That I mean, that's why it didn't bother me at all. You know, as far as you could see, they look like us. So
can you imagine Bucky trying to be in there? Like, no
Bucky, no Everett Ross. Like, Wakanda's still an isolationist nation, even though they're open to the world for trade. Doesn't mean everybody can come here. Like, y'all stay out there. All of our policies as far as who in and who out, that still stands. We'll trade goods and services, not vibranium.
They let Steve bring Bucky to fix him. He stayed. I'm sorry. That just pisses me off. That's different than coming to a state funeral, though. No. I'm sorry.
Well, T'Challa let him in. No, Furious. T'Challa let him in. So
Steve had made it with the bad
family only. This was the Wakanda family, not Marvel. Not I don't want to say Marvel. Not
not the greater MCU.
One of the comments that we just got said, I think it would also take away from the moment if we're like, oh, there's Doctor Strange. Because let's be real, Doctor Strange can never not be the center of attention. And then how would it have potentially taken away from the gravity and the celebration to have like, oh, thank you for coming, Hulk. You know, like just beat it. All of y'all, we'll see y'all tomorrow. You know? We get it. We're gonna bring everybody to your funeral.
No one outside of the Black Panther community needed to be at this funeral. It's a head of state funeral, like you would see in any other country. So you limit, whether they want to come or not, you limit who's coming in and out.
All right, fine. Send Nick Fury as their representative.
I'm just saying.
How do you know he wasn't there?
They could have sent some flowers. The Avengers Bereavement Committee is lacking.
Right, but we didn't need nothing for the repass though. We don't need need Scarlet Witch's potato salad.
Right. It's about his sister and his mother's loss, not happiness.
Right. Don't nobody care about how. You know what? Speaking of someone who has lost both of their parents, it is irritating AF when people wanted to come to me to offer condolences and end up crying on my shoulder. Now I'm having to expend my energy to make you feel better because they really didn't need all of that.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. As someone who lost their mother, I thank you. Oh, condolences. I just want to be around you. Yeah. I don't stop saying I'm sorry. What are you sorry for?
Stop trying to give me your memories of them. I don't need that from you right now. Yeah.
I have my own memories. Thank you.
So moving on.
Let me tell you this though. The part of the funeral that really touched me, that did make me choke, was when the Queen put her hand on Shuri as they were walking. That is the most thing that stood out for me. I don't know about you guys, but that's what I keep getting in my head when I recap the video over and over. And then the girls dance in slow motion.
Yeah. For me, it's when Shuri put her head down.
Is when his casket is lifted up and you see the symbolic Wakanda salute. Like I thought that was very nice touch.
That was my second one. Yes, when they all looking up. Yes, that was amazing.
Nice. The whole thing was just the entire ceremony itself has so much symbolism and callbacks. Just like the opening shot overhead was the gear, the spear and shield he used to fight against M'Baku in the beginning of the first film. So I mean, from there all to the end, there was like something there that you can pick out, be like, oh, this is a callback to this movie. And like you said, the coffin going up is symbolic of when he first descends from the ship, when he goes to get Nakia from her mission. So when he drops out of the ship. So everything called back nicely to something from the first film in that sequence.
And also, again, comment from JD Smith. Furious for what it's worth. Black Widow's farewell was the Black Widow movie. I think they did T'Challa good.
Yeah, I still have not watched the Black Widow movie because
you're not missing anything.
Yeah,
you're not missing
I
out.
actually liked it. It's not in my top 10.
That was a good movie.
It was cute.
Taskmaster. Nah.
No, I like the family interplay, and I like the sisters. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm not saying
I need
don't
y'all to watch that.
But at your convenience or leisure, whenever you get around to it, it's not a must watch.
I need you to watch that.
Watch the movie; it's really good. But in addition to that, there is currently Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special on Disney Plus.
Very good.
I watched it the other night. It is now my favorite Christmas movie with my favorite Christmas song to kick it off.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's
my
awesome.
girlfriend cried. My girlfriend cried.
Very good.
Okay, so now I gotta watch
after
it.
the crawl, we get Queen Ramonda coming into the UN.
Yeah.
While simultaneously showing a callback to a joint task force of French and American idiots, because I can't even call them soldiers.
That's my third favorite scene.
I'm sorry. We live in a world in which we know that this country has this resource nobody else has, and I'm in the military, and you're telling me our mission is to go in and raid a facility because weapons made from this resource that only they have is possibly going to be in this spot we're going to be raiding. This sounds like a dumb plan. I don't care how foolproof it is. I would go AWOL immediately in whatever military unit I was in, because you couldn't convince me to wait. What? This is a Wakanda facility? The same Wakanda that got the medal no one else in the world got, and you want us to go in there?
Okay, let me pull out my DE&I hat. You're forgetting the power that they thought made them invincible, which is the power of white supremacy. They really thought, you know
Ignorance.
what? I know they got these fancy weapons, but it's a spear. What are these spears gonna do to me with my Glock and my Uzi and whatnot? They'll still get hit by a bullet. I'm a world-class trained SEAL or whatnot. They can't stop me. And then you knock the F out. Yeah. Yeah, it was arrogance that sent them in.
Yeah, and to speak to Joy's point, they know they've got this medal that no one else has, but remember, they don't know anything about it. They don't know its capabilities. They don't know defensive or offensive. All they know is the Wakandans have this resource that no one else has.
And remember before, who was it? I can't remember. It may have even been, I think it might have been Ultron, who was like the most powerful and versatile and electro transferable metal in the world, and you use it to make a shield, a frisbee. A
frisbee.
Because they didn't know what to do with it. It does beg the question how they made that anyway. But yeah, you made a frisbee out of it.
Look,
they could do
all
anything.
I can keep hearing is gin rummy in my head. There are things we didn't know that we didn't know. And they should have
known.
It's an unknown unknown.
unknown. I get that it's an unknown. I tend to stay away from unknown unknowns. That's just me.
That's why you're also not in the military.
There is that.
But one time for Queen Ramonda shoulders, because chick was cut.
Right? Angela stay in the gym.
Angela
stays in the gym.
And she looked like the former Dora Milaje that she was. I loved it.
Yeah,
she looked like a military general queen. It was fire.
Her dialogue presents it like, so giving that speech, chill bumps, absolute chill bumps.
Yeah. And Ruth Carter should get another Oscar anyway, but she should get an Oscar for Ramonda's wardrobe alone.
Right.
Between Ramonda and the Dora Milaje, Oscar. Yeah. All the Oscars. The Dora Milaje looked amazing every time I saw
my whole Dora Milaje outfit. I am scouring the internet. It took me 8 months to make what I have. So now I need to upgrade the armor and then do their outfits for the UN.
The UN outfits, the funeral dresses. And I noticed
I'm gonna be busy.
I noticed last night with the funeral dresses, they were one shoulder. But they had different arms out. So on either side of the casket, the bare arm was the one that had the casket. So I mean, just the attention to detail in those outfits, UN and the funeral dresses, I was just like Ruth Carter.
Oh, Ruth Carter is a genius. Just bona fide G.
And
real.
She better be getting paid accordingly.
And I love the other nice touch to me, again, going back to the whole idea of white supremacy, is you got France and the United States trying to dress down a queen of a nation. You said you would share. No, I never said I would share. Why would I do that? Where they do that at? Not here. And then when Okoye walks in and they drop those soldiers, je vous en prie, and she popped that French off to the French woman, like, I speak your language too, and you're welcome for catching your little ragged ass soldiers that you left out here. Here's the trash that we brought back to you. You're welcome. And it was real French too, and I was like, I love it. The same way she did Agent Ross back in the day when he was like, does she speak English? When she decides to speak English.
Right.
Okoye has some of the best lines in the first movie. Yeah, and her name is not Michonne. What's her real name? Danai Gurira. I love her. Yeah. And this role, she's made to play it. I'm loving her. I'm loving every bit of it.
But can we talk about that actual fight scene in that facility that they were trying to raid? I'm just I'm sitting there and I'm watching it as it happens, and once I picked up on what was about to happen, I was kind of like, ooh, y'all not ready for this. Y'all not ready for this. And then they're like, who's got access? And he points to her and they open it. And the first thing that happens is she slices the gun. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, she comes through with her cheekbone and just slice that whole gun across. One time for Michaela Coel's cheekbones, again, cut. She is drop dead. Gorgeous.
And she was made to be Dora Milaje too. That shaved head, she looks like a sculpture.
Yes, she looks like a statue of a god.
But Midnight ain't not just Dora, but Midnight Angel. Yeah. I was so happy when I saw that because I'm sitting up there going, thank you for actually paying. And don't get me wrong, Ryan Coogler is a master at attention to detail, but I'm just like, thank you for bringing the Midnight Angels in. That was just wonderful.
But you knew that Okoye was leaving when she said, not on my watch. She was like, as long as I'm general, you have to use your spear. So I was like, okay, so in my eyes, I was like, so is Okoye gonna die? Because is Anika?
Anika, yes.
Yes, Anika.
Anika
was original. Anika and Ayo. Ayo was our lovers, but they were in charge of the Dora Milaje in the comics.
Yes.
Okoye wasn't in there.
Okoye is original.
So I was kind of confused.
Okoye is an original character.
Okoye was the general when it was actually Anika. So I was happy that they brought Anika back. And I'm like, okay, so Anika's gonna be in there, but then I'm like, please don't kill Okoye. I'm like, I was expecting Okoye to die because of what her comment was. I'm like, y'all did this. I'm like, I'm gonna be mad. Y'all doing a George R.R. Martin on me. Don't take Okoye from me. I'm mad. I was expecting her to die, but I'm glad that they're moving her off and she's getting her own TV show. So I'm glad they had to do that to get her own show.
I didn't know she was getting her own show.
Yeah. Yo, Disney Plus.
Tales of Wakanda, I think it is.
Okay.
I don't think they could have killed her off. That'd be way too much grief. Way too much grief.
I'm sorry. I don't want to jump all the way to my queen being killed.
Exactly.
I was going there.
Don't get me wrong.
We gotta watch away before we get there. We pace ourselves because that's another tear jerking.
Talk about angry and screaming in the theater and standing up.
I mean, if we're going to talk about what? I'm just saying, if we're going to talk about killing off characters, can we talk about somebody who, I'm sorry, I was as wonderful as this movie was, as amazing as I think it is, I'm still not a fan of them killing off T'Challa. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Well, I would argue if we want to jump all the way to the end of the movie.
Well,
they didn't recast him because they reincarnated him. There's still a T'Challa in that universe.
Yeah.
Just sit over there and be mad. Just
Remember, there's
can you
different
brood on the DC
universes.
podcast? We a happy-go-lucky MCU family here. You brood over in DC.
right.
I'm sorry. What's my
Exactly.
name again? What does it say underneath my picture?
So
You want
I
happy?
like
You go
how-
get someone else.
I like how the dressing down of both French and U.S.
American.
ambassadors after trotting the soldiers in. Ramonda is, basically making a declaration like, we hear what you all whisper behind closed doors. You say our protector is gone. They have no, they have no Black Panther. The king is dead. You think us defenseless and everything. Like you may want vibranium, but understand we're not sharing it because of how dangerous it is. We're not sharing it because of how dangerous you people are.
You are.
Right.
And like, oh,
What?
I'm so
wow. Hi.
everybody.
What's
Ignore
up?
me.
So let me just finish this up real quick. So and then she closes that out with, good luck with your search.
I'm trying to not respond to you, JD, because it's not going to be very nice. It's not going to be very nice.
And puppies and kittens. He doesn't like puppies and kittens
No, he
either.
does not like puppies.
Right? He hates everything.
When I take my jab at you, when I take my jab, you did this to yourself.
So she finishes off that entire speech with, good luck on finding vibranium anywhere else in the world, because again, to their belief, only one meteor hit the planet, and that was where Wakanda is. Next scene, we find out Wakanda on the ocean, the vibranium in the ocean floor, and SEALs and the scientists, go in there, they go looking, and it's like it's like Alien underwater. You look around and like, wait, there were two of us, right? Where my buddy go? Like, hey, we lost your buddy on radar. Are they still there?
No.
Then she screams, and you're like, all right, so who got her? Then you hit a
the minute I saw her heart rate go up, I'd be like, abort, everybody out.
Next thing you know, the siren songs coming out the water. Soldiers on the platform are walking off the edge.
Yo, my favorite meme of all the memes to come out about Black Panther 2 was the one that had Ike Turner, Lawrence Fishburne as Ike Turner, looking like Namor. And like, I heard they're trying to look for vibranium in the ocean. He's like, that is the best thing ever. Best thing ever.
Speaking of the sirens, though, James, one thing that got me to thinking about is the sirens from Greek mythology, because now you've got the potential to go and maybe not necessarily rewrite any of the Greek stories, but you've got a slightly different perspective now, because every incarnation we've seen of the sirens historically, they've been white.
Yeah.
Well, now we've got these.
And now they're blue.
Also remember, your Greek stories are taken from African lore. They learn from African peoples and
absolutely,
tailored the stories to their nation. So
but the sirens technically are South American. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mermaid's been black, but anyway.
So yeah, the two scientists, and here's where I won't say that it's racist, but it kind of was when the scientists and the dude beside her putting in the earplugs and like it's a sonic attack and they're coming out and they're running around trying to, get to the helicopter and get out, and it's like, it's the Wakandans. What makes you think it's the Wakandans?
Because they don't know anything else. They don't know about
Wakanda's supposed to be the only one that has
Did you see Wakandans attacking you?
No, but if you're out searching for a resource
for vibranium, I'm automatically going to think it's Wakanda. Right. Wakanda didn't even know about that.
You should have found out first before you made assumptions.
But James, who else in the world is going to be protecting vibranium?
They was about to find out. Yeah.
Who else is protecting vibranium?
And if you go back to the speech that Queen Ramonda made, she was like,
understand.
I heard you're looking. So the Wakandans had knowledge that they were scoping out the oceans. And she, so you could say, I heard you looking. I wish you luck. And then you think, oh, she sent this attack force. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
They were waiting on that, actually.
Right.
Hey, man.
I mean, you're making sense, and I don't like it, but whatever.
Lively conversation tonight, people. I like it.
Come on, James. Don't be like the colonizers. Come on now.
Right.
That common sense is free for them, and they're not using it.
There you go.
True. But then Atuma comes out and spears lead military dude right in the chest.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful to see him jump out the water just like that. Just like, I'm sorry, I got geeked when I first saw Atuma and Namora on screen. So I was excited.
And at that point, I think when they were in the helicopter, they said it's not Wakandans.
Yeah. She's like, they're not Wakandans, they're blue. And then, they all died. So.
That's when they figured it out, yeah. And we know that it was, even though we couldn't fully see him, he was in shadow. Namor spins the helicopter around into the ocean.
Yeah.
And yeah, just Tolokans are not to be messed with.
No.
The scientist in me, the engineer with understanding of physics, is still mad that what it amounts to maybe 15 ounces of wings on his ankles is holding up a 200-pound man.
They were working hard. They were working hard all movie. They were working hard all movie.
It's like a hummingbird. They're like hummingbird wings.
Hummingbirds are hollow on the inside.
But see,
That's
all
how
of
they
this
do that.
physics and scientific stuff is what almost broke up a friendship. Me and a friend that I will never ever go to a movie with him again, especially not a Marvel movie, because here he is with all the physics. Well, how can it shrink and the stuff inside doesn't shrink? I'm like, shut up. It's a Marvel movie. I am enjoying myself. And I will continue to go by myself. It's not a valid question.
Those wings were working hard overtime.
Just like Apollo.
He
could be a god. He could be a demigod.
He has strong ankles.
He is seen as, what is it, Tuluku Kulan, which is the serpent dragon god or whatever.
Cuckoo god.
Yeah.
Fun.
Can I say Mbaku was everything for me?
Can we talk about that for a hot second?
What?
Well,
and the film.
No, he's not the first mutant in the films.
Wait,
remember, Xavier was in Doctor Strange too.
Multiverse in mainline 616 movie.
It doesn't matter. He was still there. But here's something I want to kind of throw out there. When there's a scene when M'Baku is telling them, and I know this is further ahead in the movie than we are, but Kyle yelling it out kind of made me think about it. Killmonger. M'Baku is sitting there talking to the people, telling them that they call him Kuku Khan and what it means. And then he makes a comment that says, just because we live in the mountains, you think we don't have books. And it's kind of got me wondering, where is Kuku Khan referenced in the books that M'Baku is referring to? And maybe it was a throwaway line, but it wasn't.
Kuku Khan, I'm not saying it right, but he is... that deity is not necessarily a deity from Talokan. There's no association with the with the underwater people. That is a deity the same way you would say Zeus or Quetzalcoatl or a Yeti or something. Like that was a mythology that he embodied when they saw him. They're like, you must be this mythological person we've been thinking of this whole time.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Right, because their god was Thor as well.
Yeah. See, I can rock with that. It's the wings I can't get with, but I can rock with the mythological god. So what?
Brainy infused ankles. That's how he's able to stay afloat with those wings.
Okay.
I mean, he was covered in vibranium. Remember when they had that scene on the beach?
Inside and out. Vibranium.
And they said he's covered in unrefined vibranium.
Yeah,
Solid.
yeah.
Rock solid.
It seems like the meteorite was better to the Talokan than it was to the Wakandans because they could fly. Well, he could fly. So he
Actually,
was a
Joy-
mutant anyway, and then was infused or enhanced by being born underwater, being the first generation of
Because she drank
mutant flower.
while she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And we all
And
know you're
also-
not supposed to drink when you're pregnant, but she,
That's right.
But Joy, if I'm sorry, go ahead, Teresa. I'm sorry.
No, I just said drinking while you're pregnant. It causes birth defects. Your baby will be born with wings on its ankle.
There you go.
But Joy, to address him flying, if we go back to, and I know I think most of us don't particularly care for this movie. If we go back to Age of Ultron,
I love this
movie. Vision's body isn't his body like entirely vibranium?
Yep.
And somehow he has the ability to fly. So maybe there's some inert property in vibranium that gives you flight. I don't know.
You making comic book sense because all of the trains in Black Panther 1 had vibranium rails and they hovered like, they hovered over the rails, yeah. So there is some repellent flying thing. Okay, fine. He got Adam, what is it? He got vibranium in his bones and it helps him fly.
Adamantium.
No, vibranium. Yeah. All of it. He got all of it.
So after the nice introduction of the Talokans, then we see Shuri in her lab burying herself in her work, basically the 7 stages of grief, if you will.
5.
5, sorry. My apologies. And just basically coping as best she could. Her mother comes in, takes her out. They go to the coastline, the river, going through Wakanda, and they have a discussion as far as like you need to not so much you need to let go, but you have to move on with your life. You can't bury yourself in your work. You can't drown yourself in guilt or regret. The gist of the conversation, and that I think for a lot of us here, that for me that hit deep. Just dealing with the grief of a lost one. How do you, especially someone you care about so much, like this is her brother, who she cherished a lot. Like she looked up to him. This is like her, not just her brother, her mentor. Her confidant, if you will. Like he probably knew her
best
better.
friend.
Yeah, best friend. Knew her better
And
than
a father
anybody else in
figure
the
too,
family.
probably.
Yeah.
And also remember, she said, "I'm trying to save my brother, not the Black Panther." Yeah.
Like y'all thoughts on that, because that conversation between Ramonda and Shuri at that point that hit deep, because like I for me, that was like a callback to when I lost my cousin several years. It's been like almost 20 years now, and I still miss him to this day. And he, like, even though we didn't grow up together, he was still like my big brother. He's one of my family members that got me into all the comics, and he introduced me to anime. So like I felt a lot of what Ramonda was saying, like on a personal level, through that conversation to Shuri.
Yeah.
I found their conversation interesting because at first I was like, that's a hell of a clapback, Ramonda. But then I realized, when the second time I saw it, I thought about what she's really trying to get Shuri to understand, because Shuri said, Ramonda was like, I did this ceremony and I feel him in the breeze. I hear him on the air, blah, 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 and I know that he is with us. I know he's there. And Shuri's like, he is not there. Very, very atheist approach to everything. He is not there. It's just your mind playing tricks on you to make you feel better when you think of him. And so Ramonda was like, what does your mind tell you when you think of him? And at first I was like, that's cold. But then I was like, we can sometimes pull our own selves down into depression, into self-pity, self-loathing, especially, which can lead to depression. And one of my friends, not my favorite psychiatrist friend, but another friend, said that some forms of depression is really just anger that has nowhere else to go. And you're so angry that you give up on trying anything. And that depression can wheel itself out like that, you know.
She was stuck in limbo between depression and anger, and she hovered more on anger, and she wasn't getting out of anger at all.
Yeah,
right. And that is one of the stages of grief. Go ahead, Mal.
I wanted to add to what you said, Joy. So yes, that was a profound conversation between mother and daughter. I think it resonated with everybody, on the panel on some level. And personally, some of the things that I've been through. So when Ramonda was saying, what does your mind tell you when you think about your brother? And she's like, well, I want when I think of my brother, I want everything to burn. I want the world to burn. So I resonated more with her approach because, I lost my mom very suddenly. And for the longest time, I was angry. Like I was furious. She died at 46 years old, which is entirely too young. And I felt a kindred spirit with Shuri on that phase of grief. I'm glad that for the sake of the story, she was able to come to grips with it and move forward. But like a lot of us, especially in our community, we don't seek treatment. When we're dealing with these issues, we don't. We internalize our grief until it becomes a hard rock, within our souls or whatever. And also, as a people, we don't really talk a lot about what's bothering us because as people, we've always been ignored. We are insignificant. When we're looked on by other people in the world, or especially in this country. So I like how they touched on this particular phase of part of her grief, and how later on we were able to get to a resolution of some part of healing. But I got to tell you, I am still angry. It's been January will make it 15 years for me, and I feel like I'm in some ways still in a room that's burning. So with Shuri, she was my sister in that moment. Yeah.
Malachi, when my mother died, it took me 4 years to not be angry, and she died right after Mother's Day. It's like she waited for everybody to be there, and just because it was cervical cancer. So once we were all there, we thought that she was recovering, and then it was basically just her way of saying goodbye to us. So when I left and came home, and then they told me she passed, I was like, y'all told me that she was doing well. What the hell? I was angry, and it took 4 years. I didn't want a Mother's Day. I'm like, don't say nothing to me on Mother's Day. I don't want to celebrate Mother's Day. For 4 years. I did not want to be bothered. And I went back to Virginia every year just to visit her grave. And then on the 5th year, I was like, okay, I think I'm okay to move forward. And then every once in a while, when Mother's Day rolls around, I kind of get, I really don't want to do nothing, and I want to be to myself. And then her birthday it's like mine is the 8th of December, and then hers is the 13th. So it's like her birthday rolls around. I'm kind of, I kind of miss, it's like from 2014 until now. But I was like Shuri. I wanted to burn everything down. I was angry. I was like Joy when she was talking about it. Like, don't tell me you're sorry. I don't want to hear it. Just leave me alone. What you can do for me is leave me alone. I don't want to be rude to you, but what can I do? Leave me alone. Don't ask the question if you don't want to hear the answer, because I'm going to tell you what I want. You ask me what I want. I think I'm the person that stopped McDonald's asking people how many ketchup they want. Because when you asked me how many ketchup I want, I said 20. And I'm like, I can't give you 20. Then why you ask me? How many can you give me? I can only give you 3. Then just give me 3. Don't ask me what I want. So I think I'm the person that's going off topic. But I think that was
but you're right.
Just to stay off topic, I want to say that you might be one of the people, but I actually used to date a guy. We rolled up to McDonald's and they asked him, do you want your ketchup? And he said, give me as many as you can. I'm trying to fill a bottle at the house. And so
Joy, it's funny you say that because, and since we're off topic already, there was an episode of Rick and Morty where Rick is going through the drive-thru at McDonald's and they ask him, how much sauce do you want? He's like, as much as you're allowed to give me. I want it all.
Exactly. Wait, barbecue sauce be 50 cents each. Man, fuck that small. JD is rocking with us tonight.
Oh gosh.
But can we? Okay, so
yeah, back on
we've
topic.
gone through the funeral. We've gone through the subsequent year afterwards and everything. Wakanda's like, get your little raggedy people out of here. The Talokan people are like, no, ma'am, you're not getting this vibranium either. And we get to the
meeting
introduction
our
of
gorgeous God.
Yeah. You know what, ladies, y'all can have this. And my God. Talk about your gorgeous God. He comes out the water. Wait, let me just set the scene.
Listening.
Shuri and Ramonda talking, and then coming out the water with water glistening all over his body. More. Go.
It's gorgeous. I mean, come on. Who would not want to see somebody? I'd be shocked. I'm like, okay.
So my second favorite, I guess you call it a short GIF or video, whatever, that's going around is women putting themselves in like a little boat and like they Photoshop themselves into a boat and be like, me sneaking away from Wakanda because Namor said, come here, girl, you up. Like, I got a hey big head from Namor. I'm leaving. Oh, you know what though? I will say, okay, so body aside, dude is fine, dude is cute. I appreciate all that, but Marvel writes some really good antagonists, and I had to side eye a friend of mine because he's like, I'm gonna say something controversial. He's not a villain, he's an antagonist. I was like, duh, that's what Marvel does. Even Thanos wasn't a villain; he was every one of them. Thanos, Killmonger, Ultron, and now Namor. They got a reason that they have full conviction in for what they're doing, and it makes perfect sense to them. They just need you to see their point of view. And the way I was like, Shuri, you might want, hey girl, I'll cheer you up a little bit, get you some seafood. I mean, dude, it's kind of fun while you down here.
There was definitely chemistry between them, and I read recently that they actually cut out between Shuri and Namor. There was like a romantic, entanglement, I suppose. But they decided not to. I can understand why they didn't do it, but if the chemistry's there, why not utilize it, right?
Yeah.
And do we always have to have a love interest though?
No, but
we don't. But I think that if that scene was there, it would have explained why he gave her his mama's bracelet. Because I just met you, chick.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
from a whole different society. This is something. The only thing I have left of my mother, and I gave it to you. That struck me as weird. Although it did advance the plot, but still,
I mean, I don't know. To me, I looked at that as just like his offering to another kingdom. This is my
royalty. Yeah.
This is my gift.
Koozie, travel mug or something. You're gonna give your last remaining artifact of your
life from another isolationist nation. Because I mean, he sees her as, because again, and we're jumping ahead, but in that scene, he basically took her words out of context because he didn't listen to everything she said as far as wanting the world burned. All he heard was, I know you want to watch the world burn. He missed the entire context of her saying that when she thinks about her brother and how to grieve, all she wants to do is watch the world burn.
Right.
He skipped everything else before that. It was like world burn. That's all that's important.
Yep.
Right.
And I know that's what you want.
Yeah. To him, it was, this will help me get her on my side.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And JD once again coming with the fire, like, cause there's a whole, we all know, we know somebody that has a T-shirt that's like Killmonger was right, and Namor makes a good point too. Like, I saw what they did on the surface. I see what they do all the time. Even Queen Ramonda's like, I'm not giving you vibranium because I know what y'all gonna do with it because y'all can't be trusted. And so that's clear. Now, going to war with the whole surface world, bruh, really, that ain't a winning situation. But I can understand the whole so I know what you're about to say, because we don't understand how their vibranium works, because it seems like they've harnessed it to do some different things than what the Wakandans have done. But he would need the Wakandans on surface to go to fight with him. The two of them together, it's mutually assured destruction, because like the other nations are not going to stop fighting once that war starts.
Right.
Well, and I don't know that anyone will have enough people to survive a planetary war like that.
I don't even think he would necessarily need much vibranium to take over the surface world, because I mean, he could literally flood every continent. He wouldn't need any vibranium, just flood every continent world over.
I mean,
them water grenades
coastline by like 1,000 miles or so would do the trick.
Right. I mean, because remember, what was it that he said? I control 70% of this planet.
Yep.
It wouldn't take much for him to drown the planet. I mean, hell, remember, I say remember, but not all of us read comic books. In the comics, when Namor and Atlantis went to war with Wakanda, one of the things that he did was he drowned Wakanda, just like they did in the movie.
Yeah.
So imagine that on a planetary scale. Namor and Talokan take out the planet.
Yeah. Yeah, and to go back to Namor, I don't know. He's a special cat. I can't really call him an out and out villain, because
he's not.
All about, he's all about his people, and yeah, he has some very extreme, dark solutions to his problems or whatever like that. But
Magneto,
having been alive for like 600 years and seeing how his people, he saw the Spanish conquistadors and what they did to the remnants of his tribe that were left on the surface. That sticks with you for a while, especially seeing that firsthand as a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Question: Where did he learn English?
He has TV.
I mean, he's been around 600 years. You got to pick it up somewhere. He kept. Well, remember later, and we'll get to this. But remember when Nakia goes to investigate his presence, the villager she talks to said that there have been sightings of him at a beach nearby. So he's been coming along the shore every so often, because he's one of the few people who can exist on land for long periods of time without the need of water. So I'm pretty sure he's come along the shoreline and picked up things here and there until he learned the language. I mean, again, 600 years he's been alive.
Yeah.
So he was born in 1540 something, and it's 2022. So
yeah. And I've got a question.
A couple languages you should know in about 400 to 600 years.
That should help us out.
I'd like to throw something out, since we're calling him an antagonist and not a villain. How are we defining what makes a character a villain versus the character being an antagonist?
If he's white.
Joy, where you going? Wait, Joy, come back.
Wow.
Let me,
So again, the villain is just the antagonist in your own story. Whoever's against you is the villain, because you assume that what you're doing is good. So villain and antagonist are interchangeable based. I mean,
well, no, I asked that question because we have said Namor is not a villain. He's an antagonist.
Right.
So was Killmonger. He wasn't a villain.
So who's the villain then?
Does it need to be one? Yeah, can it just be two groups of people that have
just the way that you're going about the way that you're going about it makes you a villain.
I would say Killmonger, in a sense, was like So he could, in a sense, could be an antagonist, but the fact that he was willing to put his own people on the line to justify his means, he's willing to kill his own people, use them as weapons to justify his means. That makes you a villain. Like I don't care what anybody
was a villain. I wouldn't say he's an antagonist.
He was a villain.
Yeah, I agree.
What about Thanos wanting to wipe it out half the life in the known universe?
That's a villain.
No, Thanos is an antagonist.
But he did that to feed the other half.
To make sure the rest could live. And he was indiscriminate about it. He didn't say, kill all these people or kill that whole planet. He's like, half.
He just said half.
Which is democratically
indiscriminately poor and rich alike. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
y'all are calling Thanos
he wasn't like just doing it just like
I'm still calling him a villain. I'm still calling him
right. To me, he's a villain.
He's a villain.
I mean, half the population of existence, yeah, that's kind of villainous.
Yeah, that's real villainous.
In the known universe.
Half.
The way that he went about
Eddie, you give me half.
It was birth control. It was birth control.
It was birth control.
All it was.
Really? That's what you're going with?
Yeah. Really, really, really late term abortions.
Across
the universe.
Thanos was willing to sacrifice his own daughter. Like, that's kind of villainous.
That's the conviction I was talking about earlier. He was completely committed to his cause because he thought it was the right thing to do. And I think if you think what you're doing is the right thing to do, to me, that's a major antagonist.
It wasn't like he was happy about it either, because she was like, tears? Really? So
I'm not happy about killing y'all for the greater good later, but this is really going to hurt my spirit, and I'm still going to snap my fingers to wipe out half of what's left.
Thank you.
Because we have to do it to save the rest of us. He really believed.
I'm not saying I don't agree with what he wanted to do, but I'm just saying the way he went about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my point. It's like the way that you go about it.
In the end,
we know that it's not right, but
the means kind of make you a villain.
I will say Marvel definitely, for this movie, they fixed their villain problem. Like the problem, the issue that they had as far as either doing away with,
they made them one-offs.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it was a stroke of genius to make. It was a stroke of genius to make Namor the antagonist of the movie / villain, but still keep him, because he's integral to a bunch of stories moving forward. Mm-hmm. So you can't kill him off. So I thought that was genius, absolute genius.
And he was willing to negotiate and compromise.
Right.
He tried a diplomatic approach first.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
His diplomatic approach was to kill a 15-year-old girl.
Right.
That's his diplomatic. Yes, he came onto that beach. Water glistening all over his body. Y'all drew. And he told the queen and princess of a sovereign nation, a scientist built this heap of junk over here out of spare parts. I need y'all to find her and bring her to me so I can kill her. And then we can invade the rest of the world. That's not very.
That was diplomatic. One of the elders in Wakanda was like, "Man, fuck that girl, kill her." They were like, "Let her out, man. We don't know her. She ain't on our people."
And that particular attitude to me is what gave Killmonger his fuel for what he did. Wakanda and their isolationist attitude. We don't care about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And let's think about this too. Shuri and Okoye. Shuri and Okoye, when they were going to look for Riri Williams, they were just looking for her to catch up with her, hypothetically. It wasn't until Shuri was like, "She's a young girl." Now all of a sudden, you can't kill this young girl. If they had found a 42-year-old white man, would they have let him die?
Oh, Shuri would. Okoye would have killed him herself.
I mean, I'm not saying yes, but yes.
If they look like Everett Ross, they would be dead.
Although, am I the only one who said if the Wakandans?
Yes.
Am I the only one who said if the Wakandans came looking for me and said, "Furious, we need to take you"? Yes, take me. I'm ready to go. I don't even need you to finish the sentence because I know it's going to be to Wakanda. Am I the only one who would jump and go?
If the Samoans came looking for me and said, "We need to take you," I am deuces. What island we going to? I got my haka ready. I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
I'd have straight up told them, "All right, I'm ready to go. I got my bag. I got my laptop. Let's bounce." I'd have made a post on Facebook. I'd have made a post on Facebook for y'all. I'm going to blank. I'm out. Peace.
I wouldn't even made a post on Facebook. I just messaged like 5 people. They know who they are.
What? Where you at? Why you keep responding at 2:00 in the morning? Mind your business. You don't even know where I'm at.
Trust me, the 5 people I would have messaged would have got the word out to everybody else. Them 5 people know exactly who they are. Like, what? Okay, Wakanda recruiting? You need me? All right, let's go. Do you need? I don't need to call nobody. Let's go.
So let's jump to my favorite colonizer.
But hold on, I do want to say that the moment Riri appears on screen, I lost my shit. Because for those who know me from the comics that I've read the last 10 plus years since I got back into reading comics and slacked off a little bit, my 3 favorite characters in all of Marvel Comics, Miles Morales, Lunella Lafayette, and Riri Williams. In the discussion. There's nobody, it's those 3 and everybody else. And I absolutely love those 3 characters because Lunella and Riri are 2 of the smartest people in all of Marvel Comics. Lunella at 10 years old is the smartest person, period. Even above Reed Richards for any colonizer out there who wants to claim otherwise. And Riri, now they did age her up in the movie. She's 19. In the comics, she's like 15 or 16 years old, and she goes to MIT still, right? So, I like that they still, even though they aged her up, they still attributed that, we find out later on, she started building stuff when she was 3. 3.
Yes, she did.
Now, 3-year-olds are only playing with Duplo blocks and Lincoln logs or whatnot. And she's building automatons out of metal tools and whatnot. So she shows
and she built that machine out of a chair.
Right. And just to walk up to that, the white kid in class and be like, you forgot to Venmo, just straight snap. You ain't Venmo me. I want my money. Like just going through his phone, making sure that she getting paid because that having read her in comics, that is definitely something she would do. Like that is her attitude. Like at that point. Having been through what she's been through already, which they don't really dive deep into. We'll probably get more of that when her series on Disney Plus comes out, but absolutely loved seeing her on screen. I know some people said that she was like the comic relief through the film. I don't care.
So because they don't know her history and they don't know her.
No. So my only issue was that yes, I love seeing Riri on screen. Like, I love seeing that character brought to life because I love Riri Williams. Like, had we had that introduction scene to her, like just a small snippet, and then like if she, her being the rest of the movie, I kind of had an issue with because I felt like they didn't do a lot with her. She felt like more of an afterthought, like just for comic relief. And I felt like because she has a show coming up, they shoehorned her into this movie.
Yeah. Well,
and I wasn't.
I understand, and yes, so to some extent, she was the plot device for the first half of the film, and I understand how some people feel about that, but she was integral for at least the first half of the movie. Namor wanted the scientist who built the vibranium detector. Yeah. She's the scientist who built it. Now, did they know that she was a college student going in there? No. Not initially. They were just, we're going to find this kid. Let's hit up Everett Ross. Well, a kid at MIT built it. What do you mean a kid at MIT built it? This wasn't a professor? Yeah. Like, and she's running circles around it. Like, to them, it's like unfathomable because, again, Okoye and Shuri come from, basically from what they understand, the most technologically advanced nation on the planet. So how are you saying somebody outside of Wakanda who's a child running circles around her teachers built this machine? Like, you pulling my leg.
Well, and Kyle, to speak.
A win is a win. She's in the movie. We got most smart black people. Tony Stark wasn't as smart as them in the first place, but now he's gone, so ain't nobody got to even worry about that. And Riri is all up in this piece. And I mean, at least they didn't do her like they did the Son of Hulk. Like, he got an after shout out at the end of a crazy episode. Oh, by the way, kid, and move on. Yeah. That was hot.
But like She-Hulk was saying when she was talking to Kevin, to the robot Kevin, we didn't need all that. That's what he was hinting at. Don't you want to know who he's going to come?
No, nobody cares.
Day before the movie, and what they shoehorned it in at the end of the show because it wasn't important.
Well, but to speak to that, James, and to what Kyle said earlier, one thing I don't like that Marvel does is they try to make everything important.
Well, everything
like I still have not watched Hawkeye, and I haven't watched Moon Knight. But I know there are things, and the Black Widow movie, but I know there are things from those shows and that movie that tie into other Marvel projects.
God
to
damn
me,
it, Furious. I need you to watch those movies. Can you do that before December 31st?
I'm sorry. I don't care about the Black Widow. I just don't.
Oh my. Can you watch one? I will take one.
Black Widow means nothing to me.
So
fine.
I will
do the other two.
But as I've said it before, I have an issue with people who don't have powers being called superheroes. I just do.
Okay.
So Hawkeye and Black Widow don't mean anything to me.
That's perfectly fine, but
I mean, in the Avengers movie, Hawkeye is up there calling out patterns, and he runs out. What does he do when he runs out of arrows?
The Black Widow film does tie into the Hawkeye series, so you do need to watch those two in conjunction with each other.
He don't like Hawkeye neither, though. So
I'll say
when he runs out of arrows, what is he gonna do?
Right.
You need to watch, but you need to watch
the
Hawkeye.
movie, and you'll know.
You need to watch Hawkeye because it's great. But you need to watch Black Widow so you have some context with Hawkeye. But the cameos in Hawkeye are, in my opinion, better than the cameos in She-Hulk. Because I'm not even going to tell you who it is because you need to go watch the show.
I mean, I wasn't impressed with the cameos in She-Hulk, so that didn't really mean anything to me.
Okay, well, go watch the show anyway because they're better.
Back on track. So Shuri convinces Okoye to go to Riri's room and recruit her. They have the conversation, and Shuri freaks out, tries to leave. Okoye's in the bathroom waiting for her. Lets her know, what I missed.
So out of everything in this movie set on the continent of Africa in Wakanda, the blackest thing I heard in that whole movie was when Riri went to the bathroom. She came out like, ooh. Yeah. That was the blackest thing I heard all day. I felt that in my soul.
And when she called her head ashy. I was like, yes.
And didn't and I don't know if y'all know makeup, but I caught the whole Fenty 440. And like shout out.
It's not ashy. I'm looking at the picture right now. It's not ashy.
Nice shout out to Rihanna.
Yeah.
I like the contrast, like in the first film, where they made Okoye wear that wig going to the going to the casino,
and the kid's like, "I'll just whip it back and forth."
And then in this film, they like it almost like they highlighted her beauty with her baldness. Like I love that. I love the contrast that you got from this movie and the first movie. So yeah, I love
dressing her ass off too. Like her outfits for everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
The shades that she had on and the blazer with the African motif.
Right, the cat suit and the coat. I'm gonna go outside in the cat suit and the coat. Awesome.
And all of the knitwear towards the end, she had on that like an olive green sweater with the twists in the bottom, just showing her physique. Everything was perfect.
Yeah. So they get Riri out of her room with a little bit of conflict because Riri doesn't want to go willingly to a garage. And FBI shows up because they've been tracked ever since talking to Ross. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but the funniest thing to me, like what caught me about that scene was when FBI finally decided to breach and come in, and Riri's putting on her suit.
Oh shit! She got an Iron Man suit.
Agent go, oh shit! She got Iron Man tech.
That was awesome.
I was like, that, and that's probably some shit that would actually happen in the FBI raid. Someone being shot.
Yeah.
Iron Man tech. Oh man! So chase sequence.
The fact that she's doing differential equations while in the air to get that drone to. I'm like,
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Right,
That was brilliant.
I'd have been eyeballing it and missed. Like, oh damn! Give me one more time. Give me one more chance. One more chance.
I definitely would have eyeballed like that, like Destiny, and be like, "Osh, how much ammo I got left? Empty the whole clip."
Yep. Spray and pray, as they say.
But yeah, that whole chase sequence to me was just wonderful, because I love the fact that we got to see her prototype suit. Then we get to see the suit that she and Shuri worked on, and now going forward, knowing she's getting her own series, what the hell is going to be next?
I still want her suit to be nanotech. They gave, the Black Panther suit was nanotech. I feel like they gave Tony some nanotech for
Tony's suit was nanotech. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want Riri's suit to be nanotech too.
I think she will.
I mean, she said she had to build a quantum computer to get back in her 2856 byte encryption that she locked herself out of. So that just gives you an idea of how she built a quantum computer. Remember, out of junk. Everything that she was working with was junk.
When they threw that in there, and I was like, okay, y'all just trying to flex on how smart this woman is, and I like it. I like it.
Meanwhile, I'm over here. All I can do is blow in my PlayStation trying to get it to work. Yes. That's my tech. Unplug it, plug it back in. That didn't work or shit. I don't know what to tell you.
I do have a question, guys. So for those who are familiar with Ironheart, the comic book series, does she have multiple suits, or is it just one primary suit that she wears?
She's made, last I checked, she's made 3 suits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, are you counting her? Are you counting her original prototype in that 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Well, actually, the original prototype would be 4.
Yeah.
So there's the original prototype she made that she was flying around in doing like Civil War II or whatever, which would really look like an Iron Man, like Mark I knockoff.
Okay.
Yeah. There's that one. Then there's the upgraded suit she made after she got access to Stark Tech, because that's when he sent her his brainwaves as her AI.
Okay.
There was a 3rd suit she made when there was a crossover event that happened. I didn't read it, but I know it took place because after that crossover event, she joins the champion, and she has a new suit there.
Yep.
Okay. Like I know that suit that she had now with the champions.
So what did you guys? I would say, like, so what did you think of her suit in this movie?
I loved it. The last one was phenomenal.
Her suit, or the one that her and Shuri built?
The one that her and Shuri built.
I mean, it was practical. She said she'd been working for the world in which the MCU was set in. That is a realistic expectation of someone who basically has like the only setting her character and her background up for this is what she has access to. So if she's been working on that off and on for years, and most of the parts are junk or custom made of junk, then yeah, that's practical for what it should look like.
I don't understand why her suit wasn't nanotech. That's the part I still don't get.
She didn't have access to nanotech, probably. If she
was in Wakanda, she did.
Yeah, she had at least.
When she was in Wakanda, she did.
We're jumping ahead, but remember, even if she had access to nanotech on Wakanda, she couldn't take that with her because vibranium.
No. We're not talking about her taking it with her. We're just saying for the sake of the movie, why is her suit crappy instead of nanotech?
The first one or the second one?
The second one.
The second one.
Yeah, I got nothing for that.
That should have been nanotech.
It looked like a Tamagotchi pet. I'm sorry. Like,
I mean, to me, it's the difference between it's the difference between Tony Stark's suit and Rhodey's suit.
But Tony's first suit wasn't, and I'm not talking. Her first suit is like Tony's first suit when he was in the cave.
Right.
That's their first suit. Then he came home and made it better, and that's what she did when she went to Wakanda. And then later on, his suit advanced. He didn't just come out with nanotech, so she's gonna come out with one later.
I'm gonna throw something else out there. It's also possible. Well. Wait, it's also possible. Yeah, there's a time crunch, but I mean, Riri Williams is brilliant, and Shuri recognizes that she's brilliant. And Shuri just met this chick 5 days ago. Maybe I'm not giving you nanotech just yet, see how you act, you know, because you know all skin folk ain't kinfolk, as they say. So maybe it's like, go ahead and make it out of metal. I'll help you, give you some metal to do that.
Some vibranium to work with.
You know, we'll see how you act in the next movie if you get nanotech.
That seems counterproductive, though.
No, also Fierce, remember, she basically had like less than a week to make that, because after, and I know we're skipping ahead here, but after Namor does what he does, he says, I'll be back in 7 days. Y'all either join me or I flood the whole country.
But
you know what I'm
again,
saying? So and I get it. It was they gave her materials to work with, but they probably didn't give her nanotech, so she wouldn't have access to it. And I understand Wakanda had it because T'Challa's suit was made of nanotech. I understand.
We're also
Shuri's suit is nanotech.
Yeah, but we're also assuming that those suits, Shuri's suit may have already been there.
Shuri's suit was kind of already made. It was
prefab. We don't really know how long it takes to make a nanotech suit. We're just assuming that they can just snap them out. That could be a 3-week process, as it has to learn all the different permutations. Each bot has to learn all the things it's supposed to do in any given situation. That might take a while to program or whatever, and like just build it out of metal because we need it by Friday. That might have been the fastest thing, because we've never actually seen how long it takes to make a nanotech suit. We've just seen them at the as
I mean, I'm already giving you vibranium, and nobody else in the world has that. I'm not giving you nanotech. I just met you.
Right, girl.
Come on, buy me a drink, something before I give you nanotech.
I'm sorry. It's just if I'm trying to recruit you to help save my home, I'm gonna give you the best tech I'm giving you the best you can since you're defending Wakanda.
And guess what? You're not manufacturing the AI, the programming, and a metal suit of nanotech in like 3 days, because that's basically what the time frame they had to work with. Because remember, they cut the 7 days off early and went to him. They didn't wait for him to come to them. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, it's 3 days.
It was easier to replay what she knew than to create something
out of nanotech.
And can we talk about that battle out in the water though? Like,
wait. So before we get there,
the bridge.
The chase sequence ends with them getting blown up on the bridge by water bombs.
Yeah.
And Namora and Atuma
jumping off whales. What the hell?
In the Potomac River. Sorry, the Potomac River. Boston. Because I got CIA headquarters in my head, which is in DC. But yeah, they're in Boston. And yeah, basically whales out of the water. Yeah. And
I feel like the whales can't live in that water though. Like, why weren't they poisoned with that trash that's in that water? They should have ran up on a dinghy or old boat or a boat motor fan, something. Dead bodies, hooks, all kind of anything under that water. All that water they was swimming through was 15% mercury. Fish should be dead.
I will say I like that we get an awesome fight sequence between Okoye and Atuma. Absolutely,
that was great.
That was fun.
I love that. Basically, the general of Talokan and the general of Wakanda was pretty neck and neck. Yeah. You know, if he hadn't thrown that water bomb at her, he wasn't necessarily going to beat her that night.
I wonder about that.
Okay, because wait, we got 10 minutes left, and we are at the chase scene.
we didn't. Okay, so this needs to be a part 2. We need a part 2, guys.
We can blaze through.
There's too much. It's too much to talk about. It's too much to talk about. But I need to get to our favorite colonizer and his wife.
Can we talk about
that? Threw the hell out of me.
Yes. I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
And I was mad because I had to pee, so I went to the bathroom. How are they married?
You picked that moment to go to the bathroom.
No, I think they were just having sex. I didn't think they were married. That was
no, they were married.
No, they're married.
They were divorced.
They're divorced.
They're divorced now, but they were married.
Yeah,
they were married.
I mean,
your Peloton. Yes.
And I gotta say, them adding that little tidbit that they were married, because I know, like, so knowing who she is, and moving forward, what we could possibly get, because there's already theories running around who she really is. The the gravity of that relationship just moving forward and how heavy that's going to be for Everett.
Wait, what theory about who she really
what are the theories about who she really is?
So there's a theory that she's really a Skrull.
Oh,
there's that too. Yeah,
I could see that. Yeah,
because with Invasions coming up, there's a theory that she's really a Skrull.
I don't know.
Secret Invasion does drop next year, so.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm saying like that. They're just adding that
Julia
little
Louis-Dreyfus, man. She be living her best life.
Yeah.
So we get Shuri asking to go with Atuma and Namora with Riri, and she gets to explore Talokan, and she has conversation with Namor. And yeah, I think this is the scene or this sequence of scenes where Riri gets captured. I think like up until this point, I was okay with her in the film, right? I think this is where some people's dislike of how she was used comes from these scenes as like the comic relief, or she serves no purpose now because she doesn't really do much in these scenes. And I get it that it's not about her anymore at this point, but I feel like the pushback against her in the film comes from these set of sequences, because she wakes up in there, she's completely freaking out, but it's kind of like if it was us knocked out unconscious, waking up somewhere we didn't know where we were, we'd have the same reaction. You know, was it a little over the top?
Human. She's
not right.
Exactly. Where strange. You are used to that.
Grew up in Chicago, goes to school in Boston, so she.
And I mean, she had a point. She's like, "Oh wait, y'all wait till I get kidnapped. Now you ain't got no more Black Panther."
Right, no more Black Panthers.
Right. I felt that. I was like, "Yeah," well, but it also drove home again. Shuri, you're supposed to be on this, having a protector, and you don't. And so, in this moment, if you had been Black Panther, maybe all that stuff happens differently.
But to be fair, Joy, remember she was working on the Midnight Angel suits. Remember, she said that was going to be the protectors.
Yeah,
so that was a prototype at that point, I would imagine.
Emergency response unit. She was basically trying to
replace Black Panther,
refortify a nation without a Black Panther,
because they didn't have a herb at the time, so you were going to have to do something technology based and not organic based.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't really, of course, I'm not a comic book person, so I don't have that to draw from. You know, her Riri's form of humor didn't bother me because I could relate to it so well. You know, all of these things are things I would have said. And that to me, I appreciate that type of humor more than a Taika Waititi ridiculousness.
That was much needed relief from
But also keep in mind that with Riri being the humorous, character, you have to remember that the movie itself was very somber. It had strong topics, relating to grief and loss and war. Yes, we need to laugh it off at some point. I guess we could laugh and then go to war. So she was needed, very necessary in that way that they presented it.
Yeah, her and M'Baku, both of them.
M'Baku.
He did his thing too. I was like, okay.
So, what did you guys think of the way they kind of depicted the underwater city of like their version of Atlantis? I was comparing that to Aquaman. Like the way, granted, the movie wasn't as good as Black Panther 2, but visually, the way they depicted Atlantis in the Aquaman movie, I thought that was awesome. I thought it was brilliant. I thought the way they talked in Aquaman was pretty cool, through speech, and then that transported. So to see this depicted in this movie, I thought was different. But it the city itself, the world itself down in that Atlantis felt very murky and felt very dark. And I'm just you guys have access to all this technology. Something just not adding up here.
So I will say this. For me, it felt like the take on Talokan being different than Atlantis was definitely a conscious decision to be as different as possible.
Right.
And then you have the fact that a lot of those people, I won't say a lot, but quite a few of them people have been alive for a while. Not just Namor, but some of them have been alive for maybe 100, 200 years.
Well, wait, was that ever actually stated?
It's assumed, though, right?
The only one we know for certain is that
Namor and Atuma are traditionally in comic books are older than most other citizens in the kingdom. So the three oldest people are Atuma, Namora, and Namor. Those are the
but for the sake of the movie.
But now, did they say that flat out in the movie? No, but I'm just going to go with the assumption that maybe a few of them probably did live longer lives as the generations progressed from 1542 or whatever, right? And now, considering the first people went down there then, and they're an isolationist nation, basically they isolated themselves to protect themselves. They didn't have any contact, coming back up except for Namor. So the technology is going to advance slower with no influence.
So the scientist to me is kicking in again because, as you said, a small group of them went into the water. How they got hundreds of thousands of soldiers? What kind of inbreeding is going on here? Are they kidnapping people off the mainland?
They were blue. They were blue.
They was blue on day one, though.
I am not a geneticist. I can't tell you what
they should have all
lineage
had
is.
like plate jaws and like long ears and looking like King Charles saying, like inbred in a mug. Yeah, I said it.
I'm just saying, in real life, they did have that documentary about the blue people of Virginia that were inbred that had blue skin. So I'm just saying, like,
in Virginia,
look, be fruitful and multiply.
You better look out, Malachi. You better watch out. Malachi, you better be looking over your shoulder. You better be looking over your shoulder, Malachi.
Malachi, we don't want you to live in an episode of Deliverance, okay? just be careful, bro. But yeah, plus they had a miniature. I mean, they did build a miniature sun out of vibranium to bring light to Talokan, so it wasn't perpetually dark all the time.
Was that metaphoric light or was that like actual light?
No, that was actual
like
light.
An actual light.
That was actual light.
Here, yeah.
So they had a source to illuminate the city.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like that was a creative decision to make it as different from Atlantis in Aquaman's movie to not do the same thing, even though these characters are basically a knockoff of each other.
Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that they didn't. That's one of the things I think is exceptional is the fact that it's like, yeah, it's Namor, but they're not in Atlantis. Just nowhere.
Yeah, you can definitely tell a difference. And I like how the city looked like a city. I don't want to say Greece, but it just reminded me of a city back in the day.
An ancient civilization.
Yeah, they kept it that way. And Atlantis was all of this new technology that was, I like the way that they were different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Shuri and Namor have the conversation, and this is the point where we get to Namor taking Shuri's anger out of context. Mm-hmm. And basically like, it's no longer about the scientists. Surface dwellers are just evil as fuck. They enslave my people, they enslave your people, all for resources, killing us for no reason whatsoever. Like, just go up there and just wreck shop. Kill them all, let God sort them out type thing. That's basically what his MO was at this point. He's like, I don't care about her no more.
Now, this is the part where I feel like Queen Ramonda's judgment started to fray at the edges because she's 59 hot. Like, her son is gone, her husband is gone, and her daughter, she didn't want to go on this trip in the first place. Then Okoye let her daughter get kidnapped. So when she was like, Okoye, you are done. You are so fired. Like, I felt that. But also her desire to keep Shuri close and to not trust her, et cetera, ultimately led to what ended up happening. Because I wonder if Nakia had been able to get in there and get Shuri without any loss of life, would it have just been they got our prisoner back, let's try something different? Would they have gone to war? But as Nakia is killing this girl and picking up Shuri to take her home, Namor is telling Queen Ramonda, anybody in my land dies, I'm coming for you. and I'm gonna kill you. And so, you know, she did tell Nakia, by any means necessary, go get my daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, it was the beginning of her own demise. But at the same time, I was so shocked because I kept waiting on her to cough up some water. I did not think they were going to kill Queen Ramonda. I was just so sad about that. But you don't get phased, whatever this is. You don't get phased, whatever this is, with Ramonda still being alive and being queen, because she's going to be queen as Queen Mother, because Shuri would never have to technically grow up. And so for her to mature into being a full adult, and for things to switch up in how Black Panther moves in and of itself, Ramonda can't be there. It took me a while to admit that and be okay with that, because I wanted Angela Bassett to be alive. But I really thought they did a good job of her being like her very queendom and her desire to do things the way she needed to do, move the way she needed to move, make a general's decisions in what was, you know, skirmishes and conflicts. But ultimately, he did what Namor did, what he said he was going to do, came back, flooded the city, and killed her. Right. And it is what it is. And oh my God, I was shell shocked in the movie when she didn't wake up. I just kept, she gonna cough up in a minute. And then when Riri coughed up water, I was like, "What? She about to wake up, huh? She not really? Wait, they killing her? What?" I was done.
If nothing else, they did stay true to that characteristic of Namor. He is a man of his word. If he says, "I'm gonna do X, Y, Z," X, Y, Z is going to get done, and you ain't going to.
Mal, you're not on mute, babe.
Oh. I mean, at this point, whatever. I was going to be on the street.
So yeah, Namor said he was going to take out Ramonda if anything. If you come in there, you take your daughter. I'm coming to your country. I'm wrecking shop. I'm killing you. Yeah. They came in, took Shuri. It's like, all right, I told him.
Punched M'Baku in the chest.
He punched through M'Baku's chest. Dude was like, hoo.
Look, it's a good thing he had that vibranium armor on underneath, and that chest piece we learned now is just decoration for show.
Wait, did he have on vibranium armor?
Yes.
Otherwise, he'd have been a bloody hole in his chest.
He didn't have any vibranium armor, James. Underneath M'Baku's armor is just his bare chest.
No, it wasn't. Yeah. No, it wasn't.
But it's not vibranium either.
There's something underneath. There's something underneath that.
But the white gorilla tribe didn't believe in that vibranium, so it wasn't that.
I thought they believed in vibranium. They just didn't believe in technology. Then again, that is one of the same.
Either.
Okay.
Well, let's put it this way. Yeah. He had something on underneath that armor plate up front. There was definitely something on underneath. You can shake your head.
All I know is he got punched into another building.
Yeah,
it looked like it hurt.
Forced the water, no less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was intense.
Yeah, I like the fact that the battles were all 50-50. Like nobody was really out punching or out beating. Like everybody was hurt. Everybody was damaged, which is another, I think, commentary on the ravages of war. Nobody really wins when you have a prolonged war. And that's what M'Baku said he didn't want. He's like, I don't want to go to war and be at war for eternity. And I don't want that for my children. And I know your mother didn't want that for you. That was a very deep and profound thing to understand about the nature of what war really is. I mean, think about the United States. We've been at war with somebody for 30 years, and it's just, and there at this point, we're just sacrificing young men to the machine. At this point, it never ends. It's just to go to war somewhere, and living in that constant state of hypervigilance takes its toll on a population over time. So I get him. Like, I don't want to be at war all the time, waiting on somebody to pop up out of my sink in my kitchen, talking about elite Talakan. No, we're not doing this in the swimming pool today. So I feel him on that.
So in this movie, it kind of solidified M'Baku's character is more or less like an uncle, like a mentor to Shuri. Knowing his comic book origins, he is
completely different.
Not that completely different. Now, I think it would be like, do I think they're gonna do this? No, I don't think they'll. I don't think they do the whole bait and switch, the whole face turn heel thing. Nah. Don't think they will do it, but I think that would be genius. I think that would be genius.
What do you say, Kyle?
Like M'Baku betrays after being installed as king, turns his back on Wakanda. No. Yeah, that's not gonna happen because you think about it. He's not the only character from the comic books that's actually a Black Panther antagonist. Nakia is as well.
Yeah.
But they're never going to do that now.
So, I mean, and we see how that turns out. I feel like Coogler, what he did was he just took everybody who was of the tribes of Wakanda and was like, we're not going to go the comic book route with some of these characters who are traditional villains. We're just going to include them all in just different viewpoints of how they feel the nation should be taken care of. You know, so M'Baku has been in both films about more so protecting his people in the first film. In this film, he's more about the protection of Wakanda because now he has a seat on the council. He has more of a say-so as far as the day-to-day operations and how the country moves forward in the world. So he has more at stake. He is more so about protecting Wakanda. Now, his viewpoint differs from the majority of the other council members. You know, like he's like when they first mentioned Namor, he was like, you know, how did he get through our lax security? The River Border Tribe has failed us again, you know, taking jabs at them. Like if it was me out there, I would have dragged this fish man in here by his gills and, you know, we could make a decision. Like, so while, like you said, the rest of them was pretty much just like, let's just kill the scientists. He wants to go get the fish man.
Right.
So his take is different. But he still has the same goal as everyone else there who's making decisions. It's protect Wakanda, take care of the people. He just has different ideology as far as how to do it, but it's not so much in total conflict of the greater good. Like he's not trying to put anybody in harm's way, and he's not looking out for himself.
I also want to point out about M'Baku. He had the great one-liner of this show in the throne room. And I just looked it up because I wanted to be sure. Similar to Killmonger's, "Hey, Auntie," that was an improvised line. He was like, "You bald-headed demon." That was not was not in the script.
Say that.
Bald-headed demon.
I'm gonna call somebody bald-headed demon, run for my life when I do it. But
especially if they're from Wakanda.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I know that what they're doing with M'Baku is not canon, not from the comic books at all, because he's, to your point, always been an antagonist. And they kind of set it up like they could have gone either way in the first movie where he came out as but by the time he rescued Black Panther and put him on ice, you know, it was kind of solidified that he wasn't going to be a bad guy. But this moving him into the uncle role and ultimately moving him into the role of king, I think is going to allow them to keep a lot more characters in play. Because remember, what's his name? Oh my God, the T'Challa was Black Panther while his father was king.
Still king,
and then he was both Black Panther and king. And now Shuri's going to be Black Panther while M'Baku is king. At least that's the way they set it up at the end of the movie. And I kind of agree with that because it allows you to have a whole set of political intrigue going on in Wakanda while Shuri is off doing whatever needs to be done from an Avengers standpoint. Yes.
So
Kyle.
So question. Yeah. So question. So with that being said, we know as far as T'Challa's heir at the end of the movie, with T'Challa's heir being an actual heir of T'Challa, and what I think is going to end up happening with the whole time aspect being involved in the MCU with Kang the Conqueror, maybe that's a way they age up that child for him to be around the same age as all the other, you know, young Avengers.
That's why I said they didn't. Go ahead.
So I'm saying, with that being said, that becomes a place of contention because you have an actual young heir of T'Challa, right? Who is maybe wants to come back home and wants to, you know, move towards the throne, and you have someone like M'Baku who probably would have a strong hold in the throne at that point.
And M'Baku got a bunch of kids too.
He does.
Remember, he was going to feed you to his children at one point, but then he's a vegetarian. Yeah, M'Baku's got children.
So all he would have to do, Kyle, is challenge him on Challenge Day, and if he wins, then that's all that matters.
And
so
maybe
you think M'Baku will hold to that tradition, though?
Yes.
Well, he's big on tradition.
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah,
So,
good point.
I
mean, the one person in this movie
M'Baku.
who's not big on tradition is Shuri. She's the
Yeah,
one.
good point.
She doesn't care
Remember,
about
the first
tradition.
film scoffs at tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
So, and also I feel like M'Baku taking the throne is more of a favor to Shuri because she doesn't want it right now.
Right.
You know, he's more or less a placeholder until she feels comfortable assuming the throne. So I mean, it's not like it's not like she's displaced from her royal lineage. Like her family line is still royalty. M'Baku is literally like a place.
He's the regent, like she was.
But no, James, he's not a placeholder. Remember, whoever wins on Challenge Day is the king.
Yeah.
And do you think he considers himself a placeholder? That's the thing.
No,
and I wonder about the conversation that him and Shuri have had in the background before she's left, because him coming off that plane, all of that was planned between the two of them. And so I feel like
remember, he steps off and is like, I'm sorry, the princess can't join us today.
Sure ain't here, but I come to challenge for king. Nobody going once.
Honestly, I don't think Shuri cares about being ruler, queen. And I also don't think she cares about being the Black Panther.
Even
we
now,
know she doesn't care about being.
Because remember,
we know she doesn't
care. Nakia told her, "You got a home here in Haiti." You know, so
she does not care about being the Black Panther.
But that's what I meant earlier when I said they didn't recast T'Challa because they reincarnated him. So now you have a young T'Challa. If you want a character, if all anybody ever cared about was a character to be T'Challa, which is, you know, the whole thing about recasting Chadwick Boseman's character. Okay, they reincarnate him. There's a T'Challa in that universe now. And if they age him up like they did Ant-Man's kids and whatever, he'll probably be 15 the next time we see him and coming of age, so that by the time we get to a Black Panther 3, he might be challenging M'Baku's kid for the throne again. You know?
Well, but Joy, I have to give you a little bit of pushback on that, because everything that I've seen and heard, that isn't the argument that I've been reading that people wanted T'Challa recast. Everything I've read, and granted I haven't read everything on the internet, they wanted T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, back in the movie.
Well,
I think some of the purists of comic book readers, I think you're right. I think the other rabid fans who like to be keyboard warriors who don't know diddly squat about the comic book just wanted honestly, just keeping real, a male Black Panther named T'Challa, and anyone will do. And I mean, if you can recast, you know, people are like, well, they can get a multiverse T'Challa and something else from another. Okay, so his own kid grows up to be the next T'Challa, who's also the Black Panther. You got your wish. It may not be exactly like you thought it was coming, but we didn't have to tamper with or touch the legacy that Chadwick Boseman left behind, but we're still giving you another T'Challa for future movies. For me, that's a win-win. You know,
and I mean, because his son was actually supposed to be with him in Storm. With him dying, that stopped Storm.
I'm already mad. Go ahead.
We're not going down that road. We're not going down that road.
I mean, David T'Challa can't get with Storm in 20 years.
That's what I'm saying. He might end up with Storm.
So,
because by the time
this T'Challa can end up with Storm. Plus, the way this is done, Coogler ran this by Chadwick's family, and they were cool with it because he. I feel like the opening sequence and this ending bonus scene were both tributes directly to Chadwick Boseman, and he ran both of these by his widow and the rest of Chadwick's family to get their blessing on doing this. They signed off on this, so as far as I'm concerned, they're okay with it. I'm okay with it, and everybody else can kick rocks.
Yeah. I want to talk about this.
I mean, he had a son. It's not like he didn't have one. So his son is not oh my God, where did this kid come from? So if you read the damn comics, you knew that, yeah, he had a son. It's just who he had it with. It was okay. It was him and Storm who had the kid and grew up, and Storm. I mean, like it was the 616 or 161 or I don't know. One of them.
Look, this T'Challa can still get with Storm. She's a child whenever we get X-Men.
And became Queen of Wakanda. So it was crazy. So,
but I'm with JD Smith, Digi artist. Like, I do not know that I care for Harrison Ford being General Ross now. Although I understand somebody had to be cast, but Harrison Ford, like, I don't feel like he could be that much of an asshole. Although when he was in that movie where he drowned Michelle Pfeiffer, he was an asshole. That was 30 years ago.
That was good.
I still say instead of Harrison Ford, it should have been Tom Selleck.
Or Stephen Lang. What about him?
Stephen Lang still alive?
Yeah, he's on that show Blue Bloods.
Okay. You know who I wanted? Right. Dolph Lundgren.
That's pretty good too.
No.
I'm kidding. He can't actually have a paper bag. But
I was gonna say for this movie, I think I think eventually you had to have
T'Challa was not a whore.
He was though. He had a whole brothel. The Dora Milaje initially.
He wasn't.
Remember, they were his wives in training at one point.
So the initial iteration of the Dora Milaje in comics was for the standing king to choose one of them as his bride because they represented the best.
That's how Ramonda got there.
From each of the tribes in Wakanda. So he picks from one of them to be his bride. That was the original incarnation of the Dora Milaje.
That's how Ramonda got there. Yeah. Because she was Dora.
Well, I don't know I don't know what the background is of her in the movies, but in the comics, she actually leaves Wakanda, and she is T'Chaka's second wife.
Yeah, because Shuri is really his half sister. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramonda is Shuri's mother, not T'Challa's. T'Challa's mother dies very young.
Mm-hmm.
Or not her, but when he's very young is when his mother passes.
No, JD, you're not going to get that. No.
King Lear, like King Lear.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Bunch of little illegitimate
It'd be like Empire.
Panthers.
You know what?
Be like Empire.
And I'm thinking about the meme of young T'Challa at the end, where it's like, I heard you can keep a secret. And instead of saying, my name is T'Challa, my name is Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon Jr.
Right. My name is Nick Cannon, son of Jr. Yes.
Right. So all the little Nick Cannon kids running around fighting for the throne.
That's a cage battle right there. That's a Game of Thrones. He got a whole cast. He got a bench and a second string of children.
20 years, we're going to see it happen. Battle Royale, Nick Cannon's estate.
So what else do we need to talk about? So the moment that I had in the movie theater where me and the lady who I don't know sitting next to me simultaneously yelled out, "Oh shit!" loud in this theater was when Shuri went to the ancestral plane and Killmonger was sitting in that damn chair.
Yes. Everybody in the theater said, "Oh shit!"
And it's accurate hair. Yes.
I think my exact words were, "What the."
But considering Shuri's state of mind, it makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. Yeah. And when she said, "I wanted to watch the world burn," that's exactly what he said in the previous movie.
And see, to me, now that scene kind of, so I'm not going to say I knew it was going to be Killmonger, but I knew it wasn't going to be any of the previous Black Panthers.
Right.
I didn't know who she was
trying to see her mom.
Yeah. But the thing I'm wondering though is, does this now mean that the ancestral plane that the previous Black Panthers went to wasn't real, that it was all in their mind?
No.
Because technically she should have seen all the previous Black Panthers, but I guess technically Killmonger was a Black Panther though.
Yes, he was.
He was.
He technically was Black Panther.
He called him. So she thought that she was going to see her mother or even her brother, but she saw who was in her mind and in her heart.
Right.
And that was
the later one anyway. So
the true desires of her heart called forth the Black Panther she needed to speak to.
Right.
And that's what makes me question if the ancestral plane is real or not.
It's real.
The ancestral plane is real because they said if you had watched Moon Knight, you would know that the ancestral plane is real.
Ooh. Shut up, James. Shut up, James. Shut up. What are you, 5?
Yes.
And
But
so
no,
who's to
the
say they
ancestral
wasn't all
plane
sitting on
manifests
his-
differently for everybody who goes in there. When T'Challa went in there, he saw a flush green meadow, trees, and all the previous Black Panthers, including his father. When Killmonger went there, he saw that apartment in Compton where his father was killed.
That's true. Right. Yeah.
Shuri went in there. She saw the throne room where her mother was killed, because that's pretty much where her anger truly spiked.
With all the water there.
Like there was no like what she says to Nakia right before the battle, like don't let vengeance consume you. It'll create a black hole in your heart that you have no return from. She was like, it's already there. That's you can surmise that started when she walks in that throne room and sees her mother dead.
Yeah.
So she exists at that point, basically, as far as her emotions go. She can't get past that point because she is filled with rage and anger. And now she wants the world to burn, because at first it was just, I'm grieving over my brother. Now this dude came in and killed my mom's.
Yeah.
Also, remember, it wasn't until that moment that she started synthesizing the heart-shaped herb again to become Black Panther, because it was personal at this point. And the technology of the Midnight Angels wasn't going to get it. She would need to go old school and get that herb right so she could murder this dude, because it had to be basically, vibranium mutant versus vibranium mutation, I thought it was great. I still, again, the scientist in me is like, you can't 3D print something that glows, but I still, rock with it. I'm going to rock with it. I'm going to let that happen, because it wasn't 100%. It was 99-something%. That means it ain't right. But all right, boo-boo.
Remember, I nudged you in the theater. It was 90. She was like, what is the confidence rate? 98.7. I leaned over. I was like, why is the confidence rate the same as the normal temperature of a human body?
But it's 1.3 off. And so, that's why she saw Killmonger.
That's why he beat her.
That's why she did get whooped.
Yeah, she did.
If it hadn't been,
it was intense. The whole fight scene was so brutal. And I love
Can I ask a silly question?
Okay, then I have one after you. Yeah.
When did Shuri learn to fight?
Shut up.
She's always known how to fight, though.
When did she learn to fight?
Her brother taught her how to fight a long time ago. Just because she's a scientist don't mean she can't fight.
No. It's got nothing to do with her being a scientist. I'm just like, when did she learn to fight?
She's a royal child.
She
was a kid. That's part of her upbringing.
Yeah.
You read comic books, Furious.
Absolutely, but this is not the comic book. These are the movies.
Yeah, but he's still derived from them.
So you got to see training her to fight. You can't take that on screen for how to fight.
Her mother was former Dora Milaje. Her father was Black Panther. Her brother was Black Panther.
How did T'Challa learn how to fight?
She can't throw a punch? Yeah, how did T'Challa learn how to fight?
Yeah.
Oh,
you being sexist over
there.
How does T'Challa learn how to fight? We didn't see him training to fight.
He can't hear us now.
Kung Fu via Matrix.
I know Kung Fu.
All I'm saying is, Furious, you saying that, but look at Jane Foster and Thor.
Now
Jane Foster and Thor had a cancer patient with no fighting experience, yet she was whooping ass as
capable warrior.
Capable. So that I want to hear that.
That was screaming.
More than capable, even. She was basically doing shit Thor hadn't even done.
Right.
I forgot what my question was because after it was off. Dang.
Who else is already
Blame Furious.
I will.
Was it about Shuri or Ramonda?
Maybe. It's so gone. I should have just talked over him and asked.
Was it about the final fight?
I can't remember at all. Not even a little bit. I'm old. I can't.
Let's talk about Storm and how wonderful she is.
Sure.
That was everything.
No, I will say that final fight though in the desert was much better than the CGI filled.
I enjoyed it more too. Yeah.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I had a point, not a question. But I thought it was interesting, because Shuri is all about technology, even though Furious is writing me a mean letter. If I go to the astral plane, he's gonna be sitting in the wrong way. Yeah, you're gonna show up in the astral zone. He's gonna be sitting there in a grass skirt with a rock chest. I'm like, where'd
he go?
He's so confused. eating the carrot.
He's probably looking something up.
Oh, bless
But when we were talking about how all the characters were pretty well evenly matched, you had Atuma and Okoye, who honestly was stalemating in their battle, and then you got Shuri, who was an unproven Black Panther. You know, she knows how to fight, but she's never actually had to use those reflexes in battle and all that stuff. You know, so I think she held her own really well, but she did get a whole piece of metal jammed through her stomach. You know, and have to pull that out and everything. And so,
with no blood on it, by the way.
Yes, that. But I remember my question.
Marvel doesn't do
my
blood.
question was this, and I'm gonna talk about the technology and the old school at the same time later. But my question was this: when she pulled herself off that pole, shut up, and move forward to
you said the
attack.
words.
When she got that thing out of her abdomen and moved forward to attack, and she jumped at Namor and he bent over, did she mean to tackle him and miss?
I don't think so.
I think that was
because I mean she did a scramble and turn back around, but I mean she didn't know he was gonna bend down. I feel like she jumped and missed and corrected real quick. I'm going with that. I'm going with she missed her tackle.
It's possible.
She was leaking.
He was also trying to cut him off from getting to the water. And you know, he lined up perfectly where the destroyed jet engines were for her to activate them and completely burn them out.
Now that's my next thing is we talk about, you know, she went and got the heart-shaped herb again. She used technology to bring back old tradition. So she is riding that balance. And then she used the phrasing of Wakanda Forever to activate technology again to finish burning all the moisture out of his skin so he can go ahead and be hurt for real and die or whatever. But so she's like a different type of Black Panther from her brother because she's always been about upgrade. What she said, just because something works well doesn't mean it can't be improved. So she's always using technology to improve on the Black Panther aesthetic or whatever. But I like that she brought in like, I'll blow up this whole ship just to knock you out. You know, and that she had that as a fail-safe. She had a plan A, B, C, and Z. Like she had all of it, and I thought that was impressive too.
So it makes sense. What I do want to see, and this is me just being not so much nitpicky, but you know, like a little wish list. I would love to see in her next appearance that she has a bit like a fur cape, like in the comic books. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be Diane Carroll from Dynasty, but you know, a little puff, you know, maybe a spear, you know, because she does become regent of Wakanda. So I want you to look the part, but then again, that may change with M'Baku being on the throne. So
I would love to see that aspect of it be functional as well. That would be dope.
But the cape,
yeah, like for the fur to actually like be functional. That would be pretty cool.
What would the fur do though?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it should be just more ceremonial. Yeah. Like you're at the UN or you're, you know.
Okay, that makes sense to ceremonial.
Ooh, I got it. Like it's ceremonial, but the fur, each one of the pieces of the fur in the cape is its own little nano machine. And so you look down and you don't think anything of having a hair on your suit from her cape, but that's a microphone. And she's now listening in on everybody's conversations with the shedding of this cape. You're welcome, Ryan. Cool. Use that.
Your story.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can get with that.
Yeah, I like that. That was pretty nifty, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
Call me Ryan Coogler.
I will say this
for any reason.
I've heard this conversation on many a chat room and various discussions about the film. How do we feel about our favorite colonizer and how he was used in the film, and did he actually serve a purpose?
Yeah, he was.
He served a purpose.
Yeah. He was loyal.
In the crossover, he's gonna be in with
Val
Okoye, and he's gonna be in there with them.
Without him, we don't get Riri.
Right.
True.
And he also is going to provide
the crossovers.
Yeah, he's going to be their liaison into American government structures because he keeps leaking information to the Wakandans. He's their mole in the United States government.
Well,
so now he's a fugitive. He's a fugitive
now.
He's a fugitive now, but he won't be a fugitive forever. You know, white folks get forgiven for everything.
I don't know the way his wife was going after him. I think he might be cut off.
Nah,
You cut off
that thing.
You cut off.
He gonna put that macaroni in a pot on her. She'll be all right.
Let her ride his Peloton.
Ride his Peloton.
So now I'm thinking, so you guys who are not familiar with the comic book, this is for Teresa. So when Christopher Priest did the Black Panther comic book in 1998, he introduced the Dora Milaje. He introduced Everett Ross. He also introduced T'Challa's adopted white brother, who became, was he the White Panther or
White Wolf?
No, White Panther. White Wolf. Yeah.
Even though they used the name for Bucky in the movie, I think that they could still maybe build it as a police force with the White Wolves or whatever. Maybe that's something that Everett can do for Wakanda in the future, because he's not going back to the States. He may be mentioned in the Thunderbolts movie, possibly as a traitor, but that'll be a nice way of dusting off what Christopher Priest put him to motion. He doesn't get enough credit, because he made all this possible. Like what he was doing 20 years ago, it was groundbreaking. It was intense. It was great storytelling. So now that we're finally seeing those ideas reflected in the movies, I want to see more of his shit. That's just me.
I'm kind of with Latoya. As far as Wakanda and Black Panther are concerned, do we really need him or Val?
Yes, because Val is setting up
the conflict.
The next scene. She's the one. She's been in every. And if you watch the damn movie, watch the movies, Furious. See Val in there. Yeah. Everyone.
I'll say this. I feel like Val right now, the way they're setting her up, she is the anti-Nick Fury. So the way we kept seeing Nick Fury all throughout phase 1 and parts of phase 2, outside of the Avengers films, is showing up here and there, and like whether it was a cameo in this movie or a post-credit scene in this movie, that's what Val is now, setting up her own team.
She's anti-Nick Fury in every way, because she's a white woman who never raises her voice, and he is a black man who always yells. So I love the juxtaposition. Yeah. And you need her in this movie, because you never know, they may try to pull. I don't know who they're going to try to pull to be in there, but having her here, it congeals, coalesces, or whatever you want to say it, brings together all those disparate things that she's been in, like all the other things on Disney Plus, the cameos she's made in some of the theater movies. Now she's that pivotal piece. So anybody she's ever talked to can all be in the same room, because all she got to do is call a meeting, boom, you got your Dark Avengers or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, with the Secret Wars, she's setting that up, and I think that she is working for Ross, setting all of that up.
So regarding Val, so me being a comic book purist, right? I was annoyed with the fact that the way she looked, she had the purple streak on her hair. So Val in the comic book is known for the white streak. So I was like, why? I said, but it's still kind of familiar to me. So I had to look it up. When they did the whole secret invasion, they did Dark Avengers, and they brought in a character named Victoria Hand, and she looks exactly like Val does now. So they kind of merged the character.
Victoria Hand has green hair.
No, I just looked it up. She has purple hair.
She's purple now?
No, it was always purple, Victoria Hand.
No, James, you might be thinking about Amanda Brand.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brand. Yeah, sorry.
I was gonna say, let's not argue with Mel. You don't want none of that.
She's in charge of Ford.
Yeah.
No, you mean Abigail Brand.
Abigail Brand.
Oh, sorry, Abigail. Thank you, Mal. Abigail.
She looks like Madam Viper from Hydra.
Right. I just want to know where Agatha is.
Her own TV show.
Agatha.
Agatha's
getting a TV show.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Are they gonna keep the music though? I need Agatha all along to be.
Yeah, she's getting her own show. And
yeah, she's coming out next. Yeah, she's coming out next year.
I missed that.
Yeah, she's coming out.
You should have told me. I would have, hooked you up. But anyway, did you guys see the trailer for Guardians?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you see him?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear me scream?
Yeah. I heard you scream. You woke me up.
He looked pretty good.
I was gonna say he looked pretty good.
Do you need a moment, Malachi?
No, I'm good now. But I'm
Are you
excited.
sure?
Maybe.
We need to get you a cape like James Brown. Catch your breath.
Maybe. I am looking forward to it. Like honestly, like I like the fact that they're wearing their costumes. You know, like the uniforms.
Yes,
I like that.
Comic book uniforms. Yes.
But you know, I didn't start really getting excited until I saw that character. Cause I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Did you guys watch the this holiday special that came out?
Yes, I saw the holiday special.
Because I was impressed.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah,
it was really good. I could not stop laughing.
Okay.
The first song is now my favorite Christmas song of all time.
It's a musical.
It's a musical.
Yeah, it was a slight musical. There's some music. Yeah, there's music in it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that tomorrow.
Watch it. You'll love it. Stay for the credits.
And I didn't realize that was an actual song. Like they didn't make that up for the show. That's an actual song that's been around for a few years.
I didn't know it till you said it. I thought they made it up for the show.
Yeah, because the guy, because the guys playing it in the beginning, that's an actual band that they just threw makeup on for that, and it's their song.
Nice.
Okay. So
the whole song is I don't know much about Christmas, but Merry Christmas, and then they talk about Santa is like an evil elf and he's enslaved all these people, and his wife is trying to kill him. Like it's great.
They just mess up everything about Christmas because I think the band is from like Poland or something like that.
Of course.
It's like, of course.
But there's so many things in that little Christmas special that most of it doesn't have any relevance to anything else. But there's a couple of things where I'm like, I hope this is canon. I hope this ends up being tied to the movie.
I haven't watched it yet, but hearing you guys talk about it, it lets me know that it's way, way, way better than that shitty Star Wars Christmas special.
Like the late 70s?
Everything is better than that. Well, except Morbius. Morbius isn't better than the Star Wars Christmas special.
Morbius was absolutely terrible.
I haven't seen it.
That is 90 minutes of my work time I will never get back from watching that on Netflix.
That bad.
That's expected.
It was that bad. I saw it for free and I wanted my money back.
I went to the movie theater. Imagine.
I'm so sorry.
I had movie time and travel time, both directions, that was wasted.
Oh gosh.
It's just a stupid movie.
I say you sue Jared Leto.
For pain and damage and suffering. Yeah.
Malachi.
Pretty much. Him and Sony Entertainment.
Who would you prefer? Namor or Adam?
Oh, wow.
Here we go.
You can only choose one.
Adam.
Namor.
Battle
I'm
to
gonna
the
go
death.
Adam.
And they can fight. I'm
gonna go Adam because they're both, isolationists. I don't do outside world. Leave me alone. I'll be good. But I feel like Namor is a little bit more aggressive. Like, I'm gonna kill you first before you kill me. Adam is like, don't come in here. I done told you twice, don't come here. All right, that's it. Pop, pop. Everybody gone. Yeah. And The Rock is just bigger. So, Adam. That's the Adam we're talking about, right? That's the Adam I was thinking about. I was say Black Adam. I'm like, who are y'all talking about?
Oh,
I'm way off. I stand by my decision though. Black Adam.
More motion.
I was like, wait, The Rock played Adam? I'm like,
I'm just glad I still got alcohol left in my cup.
I was wondering why you didn't say Black Adam. I thought maybe it was just a little snafu. Okay, yeah, no more. If that's the option, but if that's not the option, I'm still going Black Adam over everything.
Yeah,
No, so going back to the Guardians trailer, I like that we got to see the like Counter Earth and the High Evolutionary. I was like, that's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm excited for.
It was a High Evolutionary, yeah.
I love that actor in Peacemaker. So I was like, love that actor in Peacemaker. So I was like, I'm excited to see him in Guardians.
And it's like because they made the High Revolutionary, they made him black in the movie.
Yeah.
And they said he also trained Mr. Sinister. So who knows what kind of Easter egg that may be in there, for our mutants. because you guys know I love my X-Men with a passion.
And officially, Namor is the first person to say the word mutant in this new
Yep.
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that does bode well because they specifically are forbidden from using that word for a while, right?
I'm still not certain it was used in the context we're thinking.
Yes, it was.
He flat out said,
It was
"I
used.
am a mutant."
It was used. But they wasn't able to say
And he's
it.
known as the first mutant in the comic books.
No,
Yes,
but
he is.
I'm just saying I'm not certain it was used in the context we're thinking. Because mutant,
We're not saying he was an X-Men, but the idea that people with altered DNA that gives them different abilities exist in this universe, and they're called mutants. He introduced that concept.
And he's the first, and he is, he's
after Apocalypse, who's probably asleep somewhere right now.
Apocalypse is chronologically first, but Namor has been the first one introduced in both.
Well, now you look at it, it's Apocalypse and his wife Genesis. They were the first mutants.
So wait, James, you're not counting Xavier from Doctor Strange too?
Mainline 616.
Yeah, 616 is.
And there's no evidence that he called himself a mutant in that universe. We don't see any X-Men. We just see Professor Xavier.
Who was
he have a whole different life.
Didn't he have the X-Men logo on?
No, he was over there being a bald-headed demon.
No, his chair had the X on the chair.
Did it?
Right. What's the X in the chair? He never had an X in the chair.
I missed the X on his chair. I mean, the chair was iconic and it was cool to see it and everything. I didn't catch the X on the chair though.
Okay, do we have to put the show on?
Maybe we need to.
I mean, we can do it. I am always down for a group watch. We can do this.
I'm going to take a picture of his chair.
Disney Plus does have the group watch feature, so we can do this one night.
Yeah. Look at Teresa up in the top left corner, like she is so over us. She is so done with y'all, little raggedy.
So one more question. So okay, Malachi, if you can give me any input. All right. So Adam Warlock in the comics, is he brought to life by the Soul Stone?
God, I want to say initially no, because he's an old character from like the late 60s.
Right.
Yeah. So he was. I think he was created.
They created him. It wasn't with the Soul Stone.
His whatchamacallit was his sister was not sister. They did it backwards because the Queen in Guardians 2, she's created.
Yeah. What's her name?
Are we talking comics or movie?
In
the comics.
Yeah.
In the comics, Adam Warlock was created by a group of Earth scientists.
Yes, in a cocoon.
Was created.
And he was called him in the late 60s, early 70s, right?
Okay.
Was that the
him like the devil in the Powerpuff Girls?
Yes, but no.
Oh my goodness.
But yes.
I really like that devil.
My computer is about to die in 15 minutes.
Okay, so we got 12 minutes.
We got go back to Black Panther and do the
hover chair.
Show them who you are.
Right.
So Shuri can.
So I thought that was interesting because Shuri was not in the ancestral plane when she saw her mom. But that also speaks to what her mom said earlier about, feeling T'Challa around her. And, it's not really happening. It's a psychosomatic issue, whatever. And so now here she is about to commit murder. And she's cycling back through all the times of her life. And her mother's like, same thing she said to her son, show them who you are. I thought that was beautiful.
It was.
Mm-hmm. And she did the same thing her brother did. Yield. Your people need you. Yeah.
I hope for the Ironheart series to kind of touch on the grief that
Riri went through.
Riri feels as far as like her connection with Ramonda, because it's like they didn't touch on it a lot in the movie, which I would have liked to have seen, but I hope they do that in the series because it's like that was a pretty traumatic moment.
She saved her. Yeah.
She said it.
So yeah.
Oh, and Latoya, to address your question, Latoya, I'm just not certain they're meaning mutant as an X gene mutant. That's all I'm saying. It could be mutant as a genetic mutation.
Oh my God, I'm gonna hurt him so bad.
Saying, I don't know.
Simone's first in line for Hurt and Furious.
Bring it. Bring it.
No, what I'm gonna do is tie you to the chair and make you watch all 3 of them movies back to back. Put toothpaste in your eyes. Put coffee
like
in
Clockwork
your veins.
Orange. Just
bring it.
Bop bop, and I do it again. Bop 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 bop.
Damn.
Bring it.
But we didn't really talk about Nakia and her grief. And she lost the father of her child. Spoiler, the father of her child. And I like that it kind of all came together. I like that they've already aged him to some extent because she got pregnant before the snap. And then when T'Challa comes back in Endgame, that kid has been gone. Because she left Wakanda right after that, and that kid had been gone the whole time. And so when he gets back, he's like, yeah, let's just leave him in Haiti with you, And so she got scarce raising the kid, luckily to know who he is and to know his traditions, but also raising him away, like they said, away from the throne and all of that nonsense. But I also wonder what Nakia's role is going to be in the future. Because, do they bring T'Challa Jr. into some Young Avengers group, some future group? What role does she play? Does she end up back in Wakanda? Is she going to be another advisor to the current Black Panther? I don't want them to throw Lupita Nyong'o's character away to just be some mother in a hut in Haiti. So I wonder what they're going to do with all of that.
She's not. She's a spy. She will always be a spy.
Right.
In a hut.
I got 2 things about that. And one is poignant and one is dirty old man. So poignant first is that T'Challa's Haitian name, Toussaint, is actually a nod to Haitian revolutionary, in which they forced out the French and everything. So great callback, a great nod to him. And that. And dirty old man moment. Can we give it up for Lupita and outfits that pretty much ain't gonna hide that bubble no matter what?
I was surprised.
She had ass for days.
I
mean, thank you, Jesus, because no matter what they try to put her in, I'm like, you can't hide this. She first shows up in a green dress, and I'm like, yeah, I can see all that.
Wakanda's ass.
Okay, but our man glistening is not okay. But ass for days. Okay.
Nobody said it. I just checked out for y'all ogle. Y'all feel free to ogle Namor and whoever and M'Baku and whoever else. Knock yourselves out. Go ham.
I feel like what did that girl say on Twitter? M'Baku can blow him out and back out.
Yeah.
I'm rocking that.
I mean, hell, what's the thing going around now? Everybody posting pictures of them sitting in chair, photoshopped in water, talking about, I'm just waiting for Namor to take me to Talakon.
Yup. Yeah, I saw one girl, she had on a wetsuit and goggles and floaties on her arm, I'm ready to go. I can't swim, but we're gonna work it out. Speaking of, did you know the guy who played Namor couldn't swim?
The actor couldn't swim. Yeah, I saw that interview.
And he learned a second language too, as well. So he's just.
But he learned how to hold his breath for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Swim and can't hold my breath for 5 minutes.
Right.
That is so impressive.
There's actually, if any of you follow Lupita Nyong'o on Instagram, she's got a training montage of how she learned how to hold her breath underwater. And I'm just
using weights and stuff underwater.
Yeah.
And the bubble cannot be hidden there either. So
no, it could not.
You gonna see that bubble.
Yep.
No matter what you put on it.
Folks act like she just got that. I need y'all to go back and look at what was it? Lip sync battle.
Always had
5 years ago.
But it was accentuated this time in the skin tight outfit. So
it looked like she had a kid. Yeah, she had hip spread. I don't know. That wasn't makeup though. But yeah, good job.
And I love the fact that the hair was longer, and every time they brought up T'Challa, the way that she would react in that scene, it seemed so real because it probably was. It made you tear up too, because she's like, when she first sees the queen and why did you come to the funeral, and that first reaction she has, she turns away, and she has that lump in her throat. That was just, to me, that's the epitome of acting right there, because you're able to sell this lie, because all this is fake. We know there are unfortunately no African nations that have this type of stature, but she was able to make it so convincing. And even with the character itself, Nakia, we know she becomes a bad guy in the comic books, and she eventually dies, and then they bring back one from outer space. Long story, but with Lupita's Nakia, I'm definitely interested in seeing what they're going to do next. Because I think she's that amazing, and she was able to use her second language because she was born in Mexico, so she's Spanish. So that I love it. I'm here for it. I love it.
So we touched on everything in the movie.
Let's go back to Namor.
I'm looking forward to.
Wait, Killmonger, what you got over there?
The only thing that sucks about Namor is now does Marvel own the rights to him?
No.
You mean to do a movie?
They can't do a solo
right.
movie.
That's
no,
they
don't.
No, they don't. It's like the Hulk.
Is it Universal, James?
Yeah. It's very much like the Hulk. They can, and that's why he was introduced this way.
Yeah.
Right.
So he can be in other films to where I guess you can say whatever story involves him is the B plot, much like this film. Like pretty much anytime we have the Hulk and people are like, well, this is how they can do World War Hulk. I'm like, in what movie? Because you can't make a solo film. Yeah. So in what film are you shoehorning in Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, whatever, because it has to be like Ragnarok.
I need Disney to just buy Universal. They can't be worth much more than maybe a couple $100 million.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Just buy.
Well, they brought back the old CEO, so it's a possibility.
That's right.
Disney lost $2 billion, and they had
I would say Iger's. It's been reported that Iger's been looking to sell Disney to Apple. So,
wait,
really? Oh God!
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's not happening with the CEO back.
Whoever's got the rights to Namor ain't using them at all anyway. They might as well just give the rights back to Marvel,
right?
Because this is literally the first on-screen appearance ever of any kind whatsoever.
We never had him in any of those shitty Marvel movies from the late 70s and early 80s?
Nope. Not even those.
And he's like, what, 70 years old, the character? 1939 is when
one
he
of the oldest, one of the oldest.
Mm-hmm. Well, he is the oldest. He was the first one.
Yeah.
That's
because the first superhero team was him, the robot Human Torch, and
the Invaders.
Yeah. I can't remember who the third member of the team was, but it's definitely those two.
Was it Spitfire, or she came later on?
Later on.
Spitfire. Captain America, Namor, Human Torch, Bucky. Of course, he was the sidekick.
Bucky with the good hair.
Got Namor's rights just need to give him up. You ain't doing shit with him. Like you had all this time, even from like the early 2000 crappy Marvel property movies that weren't done by Marvel Studios up until Iron Man to do something. Like you could have put out something when Spider-Man and Fantastic Four films were coming out, or Blade films were out. You could have did something in that period. And
I would say that. Remember, they had that they had that screenshot where they had all the like proposed movies before the MCU actually started. They had all these proposed movies that were supposed to be, and Namor is one of the screen headers that were supposed to be up there. And they never did anything with it. So
I guess
they were still thinking that
they probably didn't know what the rights were, because whoever had them just didn't let them know that they still had them. It's probably one of those things like they assumed they still had the rights, but they really didn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know how whoever has them still has them, because a lot of the deals Marvel had with the companies that had the character rights outside of them to make movies is pretty much you had to make a movie or make some type of visual property of this character within such a period of time, or it just automatically reverts back. That's how Fox kept the X-Men. They just kept pumping out a film every 2 years, regardless of quality, just to keep the rights.
Total disregard for quality or likability or relevance or plot. But I am going to excuse myself from the panel because I'm about to pass smooth out. I am exhausted, and I want to stick around, but I can't because I got to go lay down. I've actually fallen asleep twice. I don't know if y'all noticed. But,
right?
It's only 5 more minutes. Tough it out.
Okay, 5 more minutes. It's like the reverse child. Be like 5 more minutes to stay awake. Okay. But
well, I don't have 5 minutes. I've got a minute.
I mean, we can end it here because the only thing I have left to say is that out of this film, I'm happy we got Riri. I'm now even more eager to see her series to see what they do with that on Disney Plus. Like that series can't get here fast enough for me. That's all.
I love this movie. I thought it was great. I love the emotional roller coaster that they took me on, and I thought all of the characters, as we've seen before, were cast really, really well. I liked the subtleties of like all the different languages you had to read with subtitles, and how one was in yellow, one was in white, and everything else. I thought that was really cool. And Wakanda Forever, but Black Adam every now and then.
I can't with you.
Well, I thought it was visually stunning. The whole thing, just everything was just beautiful and perfectly, captured or whatever. I think Ruth Carter is a goddess, and she needs to wardrobe every movie that has ever made, forever and ever. Amen. I enjoyed it.
It was everything for me.
I loved it.
He's like, there's nothing more to say. I loved it.
Yep. I mean, I've got very little negative to say about it. I loved it.
He just needs to watch the other stuff he hasn't seen yet.
Yeah,
yes.
Someday.
Maybe.
But yeah, y'all go watch that Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. It's only 45 minutes.
Really good.
It's really cute.
good.
Yeah, it is. Wonderful. I may watch it again.
All right.
Well, if I can watch all of Wednesday in a day, I can go and watch that tonight.
Wednesday was fire. Hey, Dana. Good to see you, girl.
Hey, Dana.
But yeah, the Wednesday Addams Netflix show is cool too.
Really good too. Yeah, really good.
They need to do a season 2, but I definitely agree with everybody. The chemistry between Gomez and
Morticia.
We're getting that chemistry that we're used to seeing between the two of them.
Right.
It was really cute.
But overall, I loved how they played it out, and Wednesday making her own.
Yes. One time for Wednesday.
Yes.
I didn't realize that she created that dance.
Oh, yes, all on her own. Yes. And then the fact that they even had the original Wednesday in the series too.
Yeah.
Christina Ricci.
You won't recognize her, but then if you pay attention, you'll realize who she is in the series.
I had to look at the credits. I had to go to IMDb, like, who the hell? Oh, yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, she did a number that you wouldn't be able to quickly recognize her because of how she looks in the series. But definitely, of course, like I said, great. Definitely have to get all of y'all to watch like they said, the Christmas special and everything. Now, of course, I have to ask the group. Let's see. I think what's the next thing will be coming out will be DC with Shazam. That's in
Shazam
January.
too. Yeah.
Fury of the Gods. Yeah.
Yep. So definitely check it out because I know a lot of people are wondering when they're going to connect Black Adam to Shazam. So maybe we get a little taste of that in the second movie.
I'm leaning more towards if they connect.
They connect, right? Because if you let the talking heads at Warner Brothers, have their say, they're like, these sets of characters will never meet on film ever.
Well, I want it to happen though, because one, I know Black Adam has no compunction about whooping the kids behind. So like he would beat him up, Shazam or no Shazam, and I think it would be hilarious.
I mean, we saw what he did with the other kids.
I fight kids.
I'll fight a child. Yeah, that's
poor Adam Smasher.
Oh gosh. Looking forward to that DC film.
I think if The Rock has his way, he's going to figure out a way to get it tied together because he'll probably be the same way like he was with this movie. I'll use my money if y'all don't want to do it.
Well, Gunn is teasing other things, so we don't know.
Kingdom Come. Yes.
So,
yeah, that's
like I said,
pretty ambitious.
had my curiosity, now he has my attention. Now he needs to actually do something about that.
Yes, Kingdom Come. Yes,
they just need to at least make one good movie first.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Peacemaker.
That's my 5 minutes.
Exactly. we just lost Simone. So with that, everybody, thank you everybody for tuning in for the panel discussion on Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Definitely look for y'all to join us next month when we get the panel back together to talk about Shazam, the new Shazam movie. So everyone, definitely have a great evening, and we'll all see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then. When they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia, used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe. As a part of their ongoing war with Asia, used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.